Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bust from the Boys, episode 207. You might be a little worried. You might be seeing this wide frame right now and not seeing my boy Will Compton. We're not supposed to start filming for another 15 minutes. But we all get on the bus. We're sitting here. I just think to myself, why not pretend like we're starting our episode, starting our intro, and then when Will gets here, see just how he handles the adversity. See how he sits down, how he's going to react to, hey, these boys start without me. Does he feel some type of way with it, or does he internalize it? It could go either way. How are we feeling, boys? Do we think he's going to make a big fuss over it, or do we think he's going to internalize?
He's for sure going to be like, dude, we talked about starting at noon. So
Yeah.
as long if he shows up after noon, then we're good. Our bit runs. But if he shows up before noon, he's going to be like, dude, we had a set time.
I know, but if I just say, hey, we were all here,
Yeah.
and play it like it's
I
nothing
like
for a
that. I think-
second.
I mean, it looked like he was kind of aggravated this morning on Twitter. He got after that one.
He got after Buddy on Twitter.
You could
Yeah.
see, like, I think it was like an early morning. Maybe Rue woke up a little too early.
Yeah.
Got pop up a little early.
Had a tough day, dude. Tough day.
I don't
Say
know.
that again, Mitchie. If you're going to talk, please speak in the mic.
Jack holds it, so I can't. Was Rue in the back seat when you did that? I felt like I saw her. fall.
I don't know, but I did a video driving with Mike in the car, and I got slaughtered for it. So it's like it's one of those deals
You weren't-
sometimes.
You weren't like.
I was driving down 8th Avenue going to get my haircut, going to get this mullet, and people were like, "How about let's talk about your kid in the back of the car?" Meanwhile, by the way, 2 weeks ago, I'm getting murdered for not having trigger discipline. Which, by the way, I'm a fucking idiot for that. Like that is truly something I had no idea about. I'm better for it now. But let's take a gander at that. Like maybe we should all have a little more lessons on firearm safety. Am I right, Bloss? Bloss is a big proponent of putting more rules on getting a gun in this country. He is not a big Second Amendment guy. Is that not true?
I'm a big Second Amendment guy.
Oh, canceled. Got him. Got him, boys. We got him. We got what we needed. We got what we needed before. I know, holding it. And honestly, I was holding it different, low key the shoulder, not a lot of good mobility in the shoulder. We're talking about the episode with Jeffree Star when we actually went to his house and redid everything. It's in bus scenes right now. You can find that. But I don't even know how much of this we're going to keep in it because this is all a ploy on how to get Will. But if he shows up in the next 5 minutes, great. What we were talking about before that, though, is I sent a dick pic to the boys the other day. Not like a full mask. You got like the Eiffel Tower look where you're at the base trying to look up, where you make it look real good. You all know what I'm talking about, dude. The Snapchatters out there. Yeah, dude, you take that fucking thing when you get that where it has a shadow cast over it. You know, get a big light, put it in the side, so that thing just looks gargantuan. I stepped on the scale, and it was like 271. And I just took a picture, but barely got the little head of my peep in it. Once I got the head of my peep in it, I took a picture of it, sent it to Will. Will didn't even fucking notice. I go, bro, look how much I weigh. He goes, oh, I would have guessed 265. You look so small. And then when I literally called Will, told him, hey, buddy, do you not see my dick in that photo? He looks at it and he starts laughing. And then 10 seconds later, we got the phone. He texts you boys. What did he say? Talking the mic, Mitch.
He said, "You guys, how much do you think Taylor weighs? Closest person gets $50, or
Yeah.
and then
Nice. You guys guessed a little bit, which by the way, Jack, you would have got that $50. You said 271, didn't you?
Yeah, what the fuck is up with that? Will is just a liar. He's tough. It was 271.1.
It'll come, dude. It'll come with your per diem when we get to Vegas this weekend.
Good. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
Put it on the credit line.
You put it on the credit line, dude. For those of you, I don't like I said before, I don't know if this is going in the episode, but we are going to Vegas this weekend. Our merch is out there. St. Patty's Day. If you're listening to this episode now on Thursday, spoiler alert, you're probably not going to get it because we know how the business days work. Things can happen. They literally put guys on bikes from New York, I guess, just to send out merchandise to all you guys. But get it anyway because you're gonna be set and ready to go for next year. And then you got a vintage tee now. You got the new boy, and that's great. But a year from now, people will be like, "Oh, you got the new thing? Yeah, this was last year." That's how long I've been listening to the pod. A little more notes, a little more something to think about. 300,000 subscribers, boys. That is outstanding. What a fucking deal. Will and I both gave you guys flowers via the bird, but I do want to let you know, like, this seriously is because of you guys. Without you guys subscribing, unsubscribing, resubscribing, doing the pay it forward method where you're telling two people who tell two people who tell two people, going down and down and down the road, like, this bus would be nothing, dude. We're literally just a couple of voices and 4 absolutely talented studs in the back that are digitally putting our shit together. Other than that, we would be nothing without you guys. So thank you so much for just standing by us. Am I right? Am I right, boys? Amen. There it is. Amen. I like that. I like that, dude. So that's what we're fucking dealing with. Now we're gonna pause it and wait for Will to get here.
My heart's racing.
I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm nervous. Yo, you feel it? How long do we let him think we're doing it?
We'll feel that out.
Yeah, we'll feel that out. Yeah, we'll feel that out for sure. I'll start talking about Kirk Cousins once he walks in, and then as I'm talking about Kirk Cousins, you say, "Hey, should we do a little tear talk before we hit the episode?" Like, oh yeah, shit, we forgot tear talk. All right, boys, like I said, we're going to keep it short today. It has been a phenomenal time, this 17 minutes with you. This episode this week is Kirk Cousins. Guy is a fucking stud.
Before we get there, we need to do tier talk.
He's not wrong. We got to do... Look who made it, boys. Will Compton's here.
Hey.
The episode without the boys?
We were all here. We thought we'd just get it going real quick.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. So we're 17 in. Do you want to do tier talk with the boys?
What's the tier talk?
Tier talk's going to be favorite albums of all time.
Let me do research.
I love it. For those of you that have been with us for the 17 minutes of this podcast, you just saw Will Compton's mental fortitude. He just walked onto the bus after pulling up on time, thinking we started an episode without him, trying to prank Will Compton, yet you fucking didn't flinch. Unfazed, didn't flinch.
You gotta be able to control your emotions.
You
know what
control
I mean?
the hell out of them.
There's a feeling in there, and it's like, it's whatever. The boys had fun. If they had fun, they did it.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
But we didn't start the episode. We literally got on the bus. And we're like, hey, boys, welcome to the episode. It's episode 207 with Kirk Cousins. We're going to wait and we're going to prank Will as if we've been doing the episode for 17 minutes.
You guys did a good job. The 17 minutes is the actual part that got me, because I was like, oh, this is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought it might have just started, but when I saw 17 minutes, I was like, so we're doing, boy? You can't get a
So
hey.
you actually felt some type of way.
Well, I'm thinking
I
I couldn't get a heads up.
Because
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
there was, all of us really thought that he was going to make more of a stink about it, right? A little bit more of a stink. But with that being said, hey, buddy, we're not starting Tier Talk yet. We can do it in the beginning of the episode. For those of you joining us and saw the prank that went horribly wrong on Will, there's a reason why. It's because he's durable.
How long has it been going? What have we covered?
We covered nothing.
You want to know what we
covered
covered?
nothing. Yeah, we literally talked about shit. And
We talked about, yeah.
Yeah, small dick energy, which, by the way,
I do have a small one.
I know. It's not scrawny.
Whoa.
It's nice.
Oh, okay. Shit, that
We
does.
were talking about, which is all going to go in the deleted scenes part, by the way. We are going to, when you're taking a piss and you're sitting on the toilet and you pee, sometimes do you pee through the gap between the lid and the seat, or the seat and the actual toilet?
Mm.
You don't got a little dick then.
Oh
There's
no,
not
I
dick
got no.
energy.
Hang on
Hey,
now.
no, it's all right. I'm proud of you.
Oh wait, hang on. I do got a little dick.
No, bro, you got a big dick.
No, because when I'm peeing, like I'm either leaned up or I'm pushing the boy down.
No, yeah, but see, that's
Like,
where
it's not
you gotta
like
push
I
down.
sit there like this and I'm just.
Sometimes I
hitting
just
the
do
water.
that and I let that thing just kind of Yeah.
Well,
And
if
then
I'm never like not pushing it, it's because I'm rocked up and I have to tuck it under the rim.
we covered that too. We
Yeah.
covered that too. All that'll be on the back of the episode, boys. Please enjoy. But the reason why Will was not affected by these types of situations is because he's durable and reliable, just like our presenting sponsor, the Chevy Silverado. Football season is officially over, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop rooting for our favorite team. That team is Chevy and their franchise player, the Silverado, a truck with unstoppable grit and determination. According to JD Power, the Chevy has earned more new vehicle awards than any other brand, and that is some serious hardware. Do us a favor, head over to Chevy.com to learn more. Silverado, as strong and dependable as the people who drive them. And for those of you who want to learn more about the JD Power, that hardware, go to visit jdpower.com/awards. So you were feeling some type of way.
It was the 17 minutes. All I was thinking about is I couldn't get a text. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't get any heads up.
It feels like you're a little still kind of wondering what's going on here.
No.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm solid.
You're okay.
Yeah, I'm solid.
All
It was
right.
literally like, could you guys tell I was feeling some type of way? Yeah, I mean, I sat down.
You
You internalized it.
you
Very
did
much. That's all I was doing. I truly typed in like ZZ Top music albums because I was like, all right, I just got to think like, all right, what are my top albums? Like, I got to do the zoom out thing. I got to fucking,
Yeah, you got to get rid of that. We'll
Yeah.
tackle that after this
like, the
episode.
boys are obviously in good vibes. Like, I'm not trying to be like bring down the vibes. Like,
Yeah.
react badly.
If we actually started this episode
I
without
would have pouted after we got off.
Yeah, if we started this episode for real without Will knowing, seeing your body language though when you walked in, it did have that, man, fuck these guys type vibes.
No, I felt like it was the what the fuck's going on
Yeah,
starting the show.
but if we would have done Tier Talk, you you're a great actor. We've seen you in the Supercuts commercial.
By the end of Tier Talk, I would have got it together for the acting part. For
Yeah.
just all right, let's just join in
Let's
the
just roll
energy.
this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. There's nothing you can do. Join in the energy. But when the episode stopped, I would have been like, so what's?
yeah, I would. Hey, brother, I would have felt the
deal?
same exact
Yeah, I'd be
way.
like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
Like, just zero heads up. That's the thing. Like Jack's back there fully unied up. He's got the fucking shades on.
Yeah, he's ready.
He's had a couple weeks of like, hey, everybody check out my recent episode on Busting with the Boys.
Yeah,
He's ready to go. Everybody's sitting around. You hear a couple laughs. I'm like, man, they've really been. And then it was the 17 minutes. We have the
Good
clock.
shit on that, boss.
When the clock was going, I was like, they really did.
Jack,
It's a team effort here.
it was a team effort, but you pressed start on the fucking time clock.
Because what I was working through in my head too was like, there's no way you can just put the clock probably on like 17 minutes. They probably did legitimately. They probably done 17 minutes of shop here.
I don't know why we all ended up sitting on here. Like we all kind of just walked on the bus and we're kind of just chilling, waiting like at 11:45.
Yeah.
And we're kind of just like sitting, and it was like, I guess, hey boys, we'll just, hey, and I was like, hey, run the clock. We're gonna pull a little prank on Willie, which by the way,
it worked. It
shows growth.
worked.
Definitely shows growth.
What? Pull
Just
the
you as a
prank?
human being. No, just you ate that. You absolutely ate that.
What am I supposed to do if we're really going? Truly, like legit, if we're truly going and you guys were in it, like of course I could feel some type of way, but what am I gonna do? Just start creating drama on the bus?
There's two types of things you could have done. You could have done what you did, or you could have made a big bit about it and like literally put us all like to shame, and it'd been like a part of the episode.
Just been like, super,
Like just played
go,
into
like,
it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yo, what the
like,
fuck are y'all doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Y'all know who runs this shit? Like just start being like that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we said 12.
I was working through it. But
Yeah, we were legit sitting here for a while just hanging out, and then low key we were just kind of talking.
Yeah, because I
But-
came in, I had brought the hats. They look sick. But I hear you going and stuff, and I'm like, and he's ripping on something. Like, did he just start? Like, did he like just start? And then I come and sit, I'm like, hey, you started the pod. And then the 17 minutes. I'm like, oh, these boys have been rolling. Everybody's got smiles.
They're all feeling themselves
Yeah.
out there.
And then you're like, you want to do Tier Talk? And literally in my head, I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah. What's the Tier Talk? Top music albums? And I'm just thinking like, all right, just get in, immerse
Yeah.
yourself.
Holding this anger until the crowd's away, then you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
yell at your wife. Yeah.
Go home and
Like when
take
your
it
wife
out.
pisses you off at a
Go home
party,
and
like,
take it
bro,
out
I
on
can't
Charo.
fucking wait to talk about that later. Low key be cold to them, but not cold enough for people who are noticing.
Then literally one day we're all hanging out, the squad's all hanging out, and then that just comes up and Charles like, oh, so that's why you were that one day. I'm like, yeah, that was fucking, I was tight. I was tight coming home off the
tight.
bus.
Oh, dude. Speaking of being tight, dude, you fucking took a dude for a little bit of a walk today.
I felt, it's
What
been a
the
while.
fuck happened?
It's been a while since I enjoy the old pantry walks, the buckling in, just getting a little creative with like doing something. I thought it'd been a minute. And we, by the way, I don't know if we've celebrated the 300,000 subscribers on YouTube,
Yeah.
but I fired up posting this thing on YouTube. I wake up this morning and I kind of see that comment. I'm thinking, the fuck is this dude talking about
Yeah.
with this negative energy?
Yeah, you were saying something like you boys have already made millions or something
Yeah,
like that.
you guys have all made millions. Like, let's not act like you've actually been grinding from the dirt or something like that. And it's like, that's not the fucking point, dude.
Bonne Terre, Missouri, Cave Creek, Arizona.
Yeah, but even then, just from the business sense, that's why I wanted to go on those little tangents and talk
Yeah.
about it, because it's not like we just sit there and we're like, oh, we just have a fuckload of money, let's just spend ridiculously and like this stuff's gonna work. Like there's been a lot of sweat equity
Mhm.
from all the boys put into this to where that's not gonna be disrespected.
Do you want to tell people how much it costs for us to start this?
When we got up and going, I was alluding to it on there, probably collectively about 70 grand total.
Oh, 70?
Yeah. The upfront cost of the equipment, the legal fees, yeah, all of that stuff. The bus, the inside the bus.
Yep, soundproofing the bus as much as we could.
Yeah. Cause there's the
I thought
element
that thing was more like 50. But hey,
there I want to say mine was like 52 and 50 something and yours was like 12, but it all made balance. But from my
shout out Will, by the way.
From my-
$52,000
from
and he
my
only put 12 in.
shoes, it was I never wanted you to thought, because we're obviously boys, but we had also just met not even a year. It hadn't even been a year at that point.
No, it
Met.
probably was. Yeah, it definitely wasn't a year. It was a little over 8 months, probably.
And you signed the record breaking deal. When you signed it, there was zero part of me ever wanting you to feel like I was trying to play into that role of like, hey, we need this, we need that. You know what I mean?
Playing me.
So- Scam, yeah, just seem like a leech on him or something. Because Taylor, like we've alluded to podcasts before about how we would be on FaceTime, and there's a lot of doubt and insecurity and fears like doing this thing, and a couple times you're like wanting to be in, you're like, oh man, I don't know if this is the route. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's never like I wanted to come at you like, hey, you owe me 25 grand for all this
Right.
stuff put in at any point, because it's like, we're just betting that
Yeah, and
this
I-
thing's gonna work out.
I think at one point you're like, we both got our money back in this situation. Like you obviously paid yourself.
Yeah,
back.
there was more legal stuff that came back around. We made it all equal.
Yeah, we make it all equal.
Yeah. But at the beginning, it was like, yeah, probably upfront cost 60, 70 grand.
Yeah, it was. And the thing too, for those of you who thinking about starting a podcast or starting anything in general, like the base original idea we had for this podcast, it's not that. Like like being on a bus. We wanted to call it the Den at one point.
We
thought- Well, yeah, but it was like,
fascination of the because yeah.
and we were more thinking of going down like a mental aspect, like having a little humor in there, but make it a more serious podcast.
Yeah. Because when I was like, when I'm journaling it all down, I'm thinking like I'm gonna have to go about this on my own. And then fortunately, when we ended up coming around, and you're like, yo, I'm down, and I was like, oh, thank God. And then you joke at me about like, oh, working title, which was good because we didn't want to do anything surrounding the boys yet. Because the For the Boys was such a locker room thing with Titans, we didn't want our peers from the locker room thinking we're trying to take something that we all were doing together on the
Yeah.
Titans. When we made the For the Boys shirts in the middle of the season after we beat Jacksonville, and
Yep.
were we undefeated at that point? Or
No,
we went on a little streak.
We went on a little streak, and we definitely had the Four Boys had the wolf on the back.
yeah, we were all
Ryan
about
from
the
Hang
For the
10
Boys
made us
thing.
that. Made us
And
that.
part of us didn't want to take that and make it
Right.
our own thing. Obviously, we ended up going with Busting with the Boys, but we were trying to find titles that was away from having to use For the Boys, because we just kind of felt we were in our heads about
Right.
feeling like we were taking advantage of
And-
something that we were doing with the locker room.
And there was even like some discomfort with the bus. Like I was all on the bus right away. You were kind of like more iffy, like, hey, like I don't know about it.
Yeah,
Because when we saw the bus, I literally said like Will said this, and I doubled down on it. Like, hey, I'm buying this bus, whether we use it for a podcast or not. Like
yeah.
$2,000 for this thing? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, because
What
when
a
we
steal.
were working with cardboard, they're like, "Hey, what do you think about this bus in the back?" And I was like, "I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to do it at all, but we'll wait till Taylor gets here, because that was actually your first time coming back in April.
Yeah.
when we were about to start putting the podcast together." And I was like, "But I know when Taylor gets here, he's probably gonna want to do it. So let's just wait to see what he says when he gets here."
Yeah.
We go out back, you're falling in love with it. I'm
Oh,
like,
bro, I was looking like, holy fuck, look at this thing.
Yeah.
There's a piece of gold
Yeah.
just sitting in the back that no one was touching.
And Taylor's like, "Hey, look, bro, I'll put in 12 grand. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, I'll just sit that thing in my backyard."
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right. And you're like, I think we can get this done in 2 weeks, or because we were like, we needed a space. It's like, I get it where you're back in April, but you're going to be doing OTAs. Because at that
Right.
point, we were just wanting to do the podcast around football, not during, not
Yeah,
like,
were we gonna do
taking
it
advantage of time.
off season or anything?
So I'm
like
just
that?
thinking like, dude, this is going to like take a minute. Like we've already lost 3 or 4 months. We've been waiting on you to
Yeah.
get here. Now you want to build out this fucking bus that's even going to take more time when we can start backlogging episodes. But you're like, I think you said like 10 days, 12 days.
Yeah, because we talked to who was that? What's that guy's name? That did it for us, and he was like, "I can get this done for you guys in less than
I'm
2 weeks."
so pissed off that it's
I
not
know,
just
and it's
coming to
breaking my heart.
head.
Once we know, we'll definitely like, reach out because,
God damn it.
man, and he does like carpentry work at Redwood, Houston. Great fucking dude. Told him I was like, "How much do you think it would cost paying you?" What's that, boss?
Name's on the documentary.
I almost just hated because we were also
I
also
don't think
boys
it
with
is.
him.
Yeah, we are boys with him. He made me a chicken coop that I still haven't picked up from him 4 years ago. Yeah, loading dock. I can't remember his name.
Dude.
Awesome dude. He looks like me.
That's what I think. Is it Jeff?
It might be Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
All right, let's say Jeff.
Jeff,
So Jeff it is.
the boy.
So
Jeff.
we talked to Jeff, and I go up to him and I'm like, "Hey, how long do you think it would take to like soundproof, like get this thing ready to like do an episode?" And
You're
at
like
the
ASAP.
time,
You're like
ASAP, as fast
soon
as possible. Like we were like willing to pay more
Yeah.
to get it done faster, bro. Do we have a photo? What did Jack say?
Nothing. It'll be a good super short.
Yeah.
Just let it ride.
Check out our Instagram tomorrow.
Yeah,
I
he's
said-
such a
I
cunt.
said ASAP, as fast as possible.
God damn. But when we had this bus, like when we first got it, I hope we have a photo of it. But there was like chairs and like wasp nests,
Oh
squirrel.
yeah, it was sketchy.
It
in
was
this
fucking
motherfucker,
sketchy,
dude.
bro. Like crazy shit.
You're like, yo, we need to bring a priest in here and exercise this place.
No, it was. You could tell like some demon shit went on. Yeah, we had to burn some sage, do some
no
shit
doubt.
like that in here because it was fucking wild. And Buddy was like, "Yeah, I can get this done in 10 days." Are you serious? And I literally went to Home Depot that day and picked out the flooring and the color for the walls.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember that.
And
I
he's
remember
like, we had to do soundproofing. That was a cardboard. They're like, you have to do some sort of soundproofing because the metal will radiate too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Radiate?
Bounce off the
Bounce off the
metal.
We'll say radiate, dude. We'll say radiate.
Echo, you know.
But yeah, dude, we do have a little documentary on Bussin' with the Boys, don't we?
Yeah. If you're not subscribed and you just go on our page, isn't that the video that's up? Documentary.
That's so funny, dude. I did see a clip because when I saw the 300,000 subscribers, I was looking for the photo from your birthday when I pinned you up against there. And I was like, it's your birthday. And I was slapping you up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was looking for that. And I found us with Roman Yossi talking about giving computers AIDS from looking at so much porn.
Oh,
And it was just me doing a bit of like 4 days going ham on this computer and like
yeah.
weird shit popping up. Uh-oh.
Them teeth make an appearance.
You.
I remember that interview too. That was actually when they were going around the locker room and talking about what For the Boys meant because who was it? Was Richard Matthews
Yeah.
had just left the team or something like that, and Paul Karski was kind of making a deal about it.
Yeah, because he was like, Paul was like, oh, he's not for the boys because he left, he retired or quit or whatever. And I somehow was like, he's still for the boys.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
because at that point everything is you're for the boys.
the whole team
matter
was
what.
saying for the boys. Like interviews, dudes were just saying for the boys and
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
That
It
was a
the-
cool
it was
time,
such a
dude. That was a
good
very
time.
cool time.
Then we fell apart.
Yep. Then we fell apart.
But Richard, I mean, he basically
I got a PED like 2 weeks later.
he did. No, that was next year. That was the next year.
Was it?
Yeah, unless you knew in season that the next year you're going to get in trouble.
No, was it 2019 or 2018 we started this?
The season that we had that was For the Boys was 2018, my first year here.
Yeah, I'm saying, but like that,
And then the next off season is
Right.
when the podcast
right?
started.
I was, my bad. My timeline was mixed up
Right
because,
here where we're talking about wiping.
yeah, which
Shitting.
we actually were just having that conversation. You guys will see at the
Yeah.
end of this podcast when we're trying to prank Will and did a phenomenal job of not fucking flinching, bro. Not a flinch type of dude. Thank you for going back in memory lane with us. Is there anything else you want to say about it before we change the subject?
Richard did quit on us.
He really did.
He retired on
He
the
really
boys.
did.
Like
he just straight up quit, dude.
I get the
And he was
biz-
our best receiver at the
Yeah,
time.
Yeah. Like I get any of the business side that goes into it. Every player is an individual contractor. Like there is a selfish element of playing, but when you're in it, like
Bro, just
and
be
you're
in
trying
it.
to be for the boys,
Yes.
and the boys are what matter, like, and that's the priority. You essentially quit on the boys.
And it was like week 8 too. Like, bro, we're halfway.
yeah,
Like, if you add camp and 8 weeks of the season, you're more than halfway. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude.
he was
Just
he was
finish
a,
it up with the
he was a
boys.
good time too in the locker room. He was always like really.
He would say
insightful.
some wild
Wild
shit.
shit, but
Wild
still
shit.
One of those guys who was like fun because he'd always bring that big ass speaker everywhere, even in
Yeah.
the shower.
Yeah.
He'd have it set up like a massive fucking.
My man did not want to be alone with his own thoughts.
No, no,
he
no,
had
no.
to have that music up or something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, Rashad, Rashard,
Richard Matthews.
buddy, it was like 7 more weeks. He totally quit on us.
He
Totally quit on
He
us.
left the boys. He bounced.
He bounced. And I was trying to sing your praises during, but hey,
You did that.
over
That
now.
was when all the boys were staying strong to the
Staying
football.
strong.
Because Paul was the evil villain.
yeah, Paul was trying to
like,
play.
Remember,
That's
he was
what-
taking pictures. Like, look at these quotes around. He's like, "Is this for the boys?" Because he's, Paul's always trying to find.
He's always trying to find something. Yeah. And you can kind of watch like the turbulence that Paul's had playing that role for so long. Like he can't be an asshole
yeah.
forever.
Hey, by the way, you threw a wild shot at him the other night.
Did you like it?
Wild shot.
Was it a good one?
I smiled, but I'm like, you didn't have to.
Yeah, but I also that's Paul and I actually have a good relationship. Like we would talk, he'd be very candid with me, I'd be very candid with him, but like and I would always tell him like you are the guy that likes to stir shit up. You are the villain of the locker room. Well, before COVID hit and we weren't allowed to have anybody in there. Now they can have the media in the locker room, but yeah, Paul just saying shit about Jeffrey Simmons. It's like, bro, who like that is legitimately a strategic thing that agents tell you. Like, hey, you can do this, you can do that, you can delete all the photos off your page of the team. Like, because the whole goal of that for Jeffrey Simmons to take all the photos off is to cause a stir within the fan base community. Fan base community gets outraged, just like we saw with Derrick Henry a couple days ago. We see a thing. Derrick is on the trading block. The Titans are moving Derrick. The whole fucking Nashville world exploded. If this fucking happens, I'm done. My PSLs are over. We're fucking over it. All that shit. And then the next day, look what happened. Oh, it's actually not a reliable source. It's not going to actually be a thing. Jeff, his situation, I saw a little more 50-50 where like people are like childish as fuck. And also like people are like, do something, Titans, do something about it. But it is a strategic plan that agents and other people put in your head when you're trying to get that new contract, which we all know that Jeff deserves.
Yeah.
So-
No, that's a fair point. It's like if you're strictly looking at it objectively from a business standpoint, it does seem because I can, you're like, why delete all that stuff off? But yeah, when you bring up the strategy behind it and everything else, it's almost like you do cause that little bit of a voice in the fan base community, which is like a public perception thing, which is like a small piece of trying to create some type of, whether it's leverage or that is an element in the whole negotiation, is you want to show the fans like, hey, if you feel like you're being done wrong, I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but it's just a little element to move on the chessboard to try and cause that little stir to get the fan base, by the fan base more kind of on your side as a player.
Yeah, because people do feel pressure. The power of social media. Owners see it, GMs see it, head
Right.
coaches see it. We all know Vrabel's probably on Twitter right now as I'm speaking.
Yeah.
He fucking loves Twitter. He is all about
Ready
Twitter.
to toss a body bag out there.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be you or me. At any moment, dude, I feel like I can get got by Vrabel any day.
Yeah.
And I'm not even on the, we're not even on the team anymore.
Not
We're
on
unemployed.
The team. Not on the team. Just randomly, he was at the combine and he sends a selfie with him and some linebacker. And all it says is finding your replacement. I'm like, yo, I haven't even been on the team in a minute. I go, did you tell him
Like
it's
2 years.
Yeah, I'm like, did you tell him it's the best player you've ever coached? And he goes, he loves you. But, I don't know why I was saying that.
That's crazy. Vrabel didn't want to answer that question.
He did. Yeah. He didn't even say that question. But
Answer the question.
it's dope that these fucking, like, the generation of these collegiate athletes are getting there and saying that, because Vrabel's probably thinking, like, why do you love comp? Like, what do you do? You know what I mean?
Yo, that's fucking tough to hear you say about yourself.
I know, but
Like, what do you do?
if there's one team where I didn't do a lot on, it was the Titans.
Yeah.
Like the Raiders, I got to play and start and have a role.
Well, you started against the
Washington.
Colts.
I did start against the Colts.
Basically started against the Broncos.
Right, but
The
not,
worst
but
thing
not,
where
but
Sean
not,
Evans
but not
could
an
have done.
optimal situations. Yeah, fair. No. I guess what I'm talking about is the role I felt like I was in the Titans were different than the roles I felt like I was in with the
Yeah,
Raiders.
you were a starter at the Redskins. You were a
Yeah.
starter at the Raiders.
Like I was a guy that
You were
they
thrust
like
into a
looked
starting
to and
position.
counted on. Vrabel, there was never that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
That collaborative relationship from coach to linebacker, like, hey, how we scheme and stuff like that. It's like,
Right.
throw Will in there.
Yeah, we'll see how
You
he
know what I
does.
mean? Ravens
I
though.
know, dude.
Hey, Ravens.
Ravens called?
Ravens game? No,
Oh, yeah.
Ravens game.
Ravens called? I mean, I got the clips of you fucking, you have a playoff game?
no, not that one. I'm talking about, remember when I got cut and then I got put on practice squad
Yeah.
and then Jayon hurt his elbow?
Yeah,
in the game?
yeah. I do remember that.
That one. And then I got
See
to
that right
start
there?
for the Colts the next week.
You see that right there? Oh, fucking stopped.
Yeah.
Little VMO twitch.
But Vrabel's
Stronger.
I'll just say Vrabel's an elite ball buster. That's basically what it was. The selfie, hey, finding your replacement. It's like, fuck.
Going back to what you're saying about the combine, dude, when I was on the field during the combine with Joe and stuff like that, I'm like literally with Joe Thomas, who will have a Hall of Fame jacket around his shoulders come August. And dudes are like, the boy. It's like jogging by after a drill. Dudes are about it.
You touched Joe like
No, I didn't. I sang that man's praises. He's a stud.
he is. I mean,
He's a fucking stud. Hate his stance.
the
Can't fucking
is
stand the way
he
he was
the
in his
goat?
stance.
Is Joe Thomas the goat of all losers?
There's no question.
You know what I mean?
I was immediately about to say no because I think Trent is the GOAT offensive lineman.
Right. But I'm talking about just the most loser franchise that like he had to sit there and just be on this team and be the best player on the team for how many years? Double-digit
10.
years.
Yeah, he played 10 years and then
Barry
he played
Sanders
10
might have something to say about that too.
Yeah, fair.
Oh, that's a good one.
Fair.
Who's
It's more
be-
of like I
who's
wanted
better
to
ball player though?
say that question in a full sentence. Is Joe Thomas the GOAT of all losers? In clip, put it out there.
End clip. Rip it out
Yeah,
there,
rip
dude.
it out there.
Mm,
10 consecutive Pro Bowls.
yeah.
And I wonder what the best record the Browns had during his whole time there.
Look that up.
Look at
Look that up.
let's use the computer.
He started those however many years he played. He started every single game in a row, never missed a game.
Yeah, 10,367 snaps.
Yeah, in a row.
You know who saw his last snap?
You.
Me. I was on the field. Pull up that clip too.
And
That's
you're trying to
embarrassing.
like, you're trying to.
Yeah, you tried to go
Didn't
give
get
him a
it.
little ass tap or something, and he's like,
Bro, we started talking about that during the broadcast of the NFL Plus at the combine. I started to tell that story, and Joe was all smiles because we were joking about how like he's like, "You're the last person to touch me when I played," and I was like, "Yeah, that's probably the most embarrassing moment of my NFL career." By the way, been knocked out twice, torn two ACLs. Like that was way more embarrassing. He's like 15 yards away from me, and as he's getting up, I jog out there, and he jogs away from me. I'm like, get a little wisp of the middle finger on the
Yeah,
back of
with
his
the-
cheek, dude, and jog back.
Your pocket.
Yeah.
Joe Thomas in his 10-year career, I believe it was
When was his first year?
2007 to 2017, and 2007 was their only winning season at 10-6, and then his final season with the Browns, they were 0-16.
Yeah.
But yeah, only winning season was his rookie year.
Only winning seasons is your rookie year. And think about it. You get drafted, you go 10-6 your rookie year. You're like, don't worry. You know that after that last game, hey, don't worry, boys. We'll be back. We're building something.
Yeah, we're building something special.
Special, yeah.
Man, that fucking sucks,
And
Joe.
then just a fucking.
Now, you guys have heard the story about Joe almost getting traded to the Broncos.
Remind us.
So it's the deadline of the trading deadline's like week 8 of the NFL season. And apparently Peyton Manning called Joe Thomas. It was like, hey, I need somebody. We're going to win a Super Bowl this year. We want to trade for you. And I've heard, we can clarify with Joe. Joe went to the GM of the Browns and said, please don't trade me. So the GM of the Browns put in the trade paper, fax machine, whatever it is, like 5 minutes after the deadline ended, so it didn't actually go through, and made it look like a mistake, so he could stay on the Browns,
Really?
and he would have won a Super Bowl
I
that year.
vaguely, yeah, because I
2015.
think it might have been you who was telling me that. Because
Mhm.
then I was like, man, what if somebody like, hey, you know, I think I played the role of like Patrick Mahomes calls like, hey, let's go get this Super Bowl.
You see the Chiefs?
I did see that. What's the eyes there with the Chiefs?
You know,
You dropped the eyes.
Yeah.
Late night text.
right? Late night little deal.
Yeah, what's the little?
I just know that Orlando Brown is now testing free agency.
They didn't tag him either.
They didn't tag him. Yeah, that's why he's testing free agency.
Yeah.
So it is going to be a bit of a deal. We'll see. I know there was like a couple conversations in the beginning. You know, they need a left tackle. I wonder if the number 77 is available.
Look that up.
No, he wasn't. He was Andrew Wiley is 77 there, huh? You think Andrew handed over? I think Wiley would get a bag coming towards him for that number. Like, there's a handful of teams that are seriously interesting to me. The Chiefs are one of them.
Absolutely, because they could basically check all those boxes. I mean,
All the
you're
boxes.
looking like a Super Bowl S team.
Contender.
Oh.
Wiley, we got to talk about number 77. And the Chiefs, the negative comments I saw of those like 200 whatever comments was, no, you're not on the field, blah, blah, blah. We're not paying you. Boys, I'm going to let you know a little secret. The contract I would get is not going to be a big number contract.
Similar to mine.
It would be it would be closer to yours than it was to my old one.
Yo, yeah,
oh, yeah.
for sure, yeah.
Okay, easy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No
You
fucking question,
you
bro.
fucking suck, dude.
Yeah. But there'd be incentives. We'd be incentives, and your boys, hey, I'm all about chasing it.
That would be two contending podcasts on the same team together, though.
Ooh,
That'd be
new
an-
heights.
What an awesome
Bussin'. That
would be
situation for a
sweet,
little
though.
collab
That
with
would be
Travis.
sweet.
Big fan of Travis.
And for Raider Nation, we'd finally have somebody on the inside of that organization.
Yeah.
of the franchise.
Both of us.
Yeah,
Because they know the rules. You want me, you gotta take Will.
exactly.
And you'll play for minimum.
Oh yeah. It's not even, my incentives. I'll have some incentives.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the incentive?
probably tied to yours. So we'll have to look at your incentives and be like, all right, how should we break this up? If you reach
That's a good thing to put him on my contract negotiation is like, if Taylor plays 90% of the snaps, Taylor gets an extra $1 million, Will gets another 200,000. If I make 16 starts, Will gets $1 million,
Right.
Taylor gets
Yeah,
200,000.
'cause I'll be in with the boys, Willie Gay and Bolton. Thick gay neck, dude. And I'll be singing from the mountaintops. We got the best linebacker core in the league because those dudes are studs. And
And you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you would keep me in check with my incentives. Like if I had like a little hammy or something, a little soft tissue.
Oh, 100%.
You're like, brother,
I'd come in.
you're playing.
I'll be coming to that training room like, hey, I was talking to Andy. I was just in Andy's office. Like,
yeah,
we got it.
we gotta go.
Yeah,
Put some Bengay on that thing. Let's roll.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Let that thing fucking rip. So, Chiefs.
If we get action with the Chiefs, we'll very much
We'll
weigh
think
those
about
options.
Like I said before, this all goes into, can my knee handle the situation. I will say though, I squatted 225 today for 10.
No shit.
So
We talking
Go ahead.
ass to grass?
put that in your back pocket. What's that?
Ass to grass?
Oh, buddy, we were down. No shift to the hips or nothing either. My leg was twerking like I needed dollar bills. That thing was going fucking wild, dog. After that, lunges, rear foot elevated.
Tough, bro. Nothing like some
Brother.
Bulgarian split squats.
Yes. And I guess what? Full. Got my leg all the way down to the ground.
Nice.
So the rehab that's a nice feeling.
Chiefs, if you're
You have
listening,
a little strength
Chiefs,
in
if
the
you
leg.
are listening, things are going well.
Thank God for this second. Thank God for this second surgery is all I'll say.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Elatrosh really fixed a lot of things in there.
I like how you phrased that.
Thank you.
Speaking of ATG, knees over toes guy, he DM'd. He would love to come on the bus.
He followed me the other day.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes,
look
man.
at the boy.
I would love to get him out
him.
here,
I would love
yeah.
knees over toes guy.
And even do a vlog with him, just like
And do a
"Hey,
workout with
brother.
him.
Yeah, train us for however long you're here.
Yeah, that would be incredible. I would
Just a
absolutely be 100% down with
Direct
that.
line, because he was saying how he goes out of all the sports that I work with, because he did post a lot of stuff about him dunking and just the recovery he's had from all the knee surgeries that he's had. He's like, football players are who DM me and want to work with me the most.
You know what's funny too is of the training staffs I've worked with, there's been a handful that have said to me like that shit is wrong. Like you shouldn't.
Really?
Yeah, like having that, like working that flexion, like you're like you don't need that.
Mm.
You shouldn't be doing your knees over your toes, blah blah blah. You should be doing things you need for sports.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what he says about all this stuff.
Yeah. Because remember when we were in Arizona for Super Bowl week and we were training with the boy Drew?
Drew at Exos.
We were training with the boy
Drew's
Drew
a
at Exo. Shout out Drew. He was incorporating some of the knees over
Yeah.
toe stuff in the workout. And
Yeah.
he was talking about, I would be interested to have him on and talk about all that.
That would be
I think
awesome.
Is it Ben? I think his name's Ben.
Yeah, Ben. Yeah, it is Ben. I unsubscribed because I was like paying for their programs,
Mhm.
and then when I had to get my knee have surgery again, I literally unsubscribed, and somebody from the ATG account like messaged me. I was like, "Hey, why are you unsubscribing?" I was like, "Oh, I retore my ACL. Like, I'll be back. Don't worry." I'm like, okay, good. So I
They just say we need that money.
yeah, we're gonna need that $75 a month, brother.
Yeah, we're gonna need that.
But yeah, dude. I think they do a
I love all their stuff. That's basically what
Ben Patrick,
Ben Patrick. That's pretty much what I
and the
use.
dude's fucking shreddy. Look at him.
Yeah, he's
Dude,
And he can jump out of the
can
fucking
just- he
gym,
can
too.
Dunk, he can yam.
Yeah,
damn,
brother.
bro.
He
Crazy.
and his body strength is incredible.
Yeah, and the best part about all of his training and programming is they have a full library and archive of all the videos, but he explains it on such a level that you can, if you're an old lady or you're some well-trained athlete, he's got like phases for all of it.
Mhm.
So you can do it at home, you can do it on the go, minimal equipment. It's awesome. I love all of his programming. So
Yeah.
I think having him on the bus would be sick.
That'd be cool, man.
For everybody trying to get right, get jacked in 2023, we need to have somebody on who's jacked
Yeah,
who can get us on the path.
yeah. Boys cut up for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about Jack, but before we get into the who is it? Kirk Cousins
Kirk Cousins.
episode this week. He came on the bus when we were in the Super Bowl. Incredible individual. He literally came there, and I hope we have that clip because it played. He came because of Will. I will let you guys watch this episode. You guys will get into it. It's an amazing episode. He goes into his mindset, where his heads out as far as his career, where Minnesota's going, where he thinks he can go. But my favorite part of the entire episode was the ending of the episode when he literally sat there as we were literally getting up. Like I'm like going to stand up, and he's giving Will flowers. Like I've never seen somebody give somebody else flowers before in my entire life.
He almost brought me to tears.
It was incredible. And it says everything he said is absolutely correct about Will. But before you guys see that episode, Tier Talk. Now the Tier Talk this week is going to be best albums, whole music albums. Now, I don't know how it's going to go. I know Willie's a big ZZ Top guy. They're a great band. Maybe not the best band of all time like Blink-182, but this is obviously all a preference for everybody. This
They
is
might
gonna
not.
be
They might not even make it. That was just my first thought when I was trying to
Mhm.
get out of the
Yeah, you
internal
were in a
emotion.
mental
I was in
blender.
a little bit of a blender.
Yeah. And boys are going to Vegas tomorrow.
We are going to Vegas. If you're
Staying
in
at the
Vegas,
Aria.
On the lookout. The boys will be out in the
Yeah.
jungle. We'll be out in the wild.
I want to say this out loud, and hopefully the Aria hears this. That's where we're staying. Phenomenal place. Crystal, the lady that does all this stuff, does a great job. Cannot wait. Anytime you have to go to Vegas and stay at the Aria, it's a phenomenal time.
Yeah.
Very accommodating, very great people. It's gonna be awesome.
Top to bottom. Whenever we met
Yeah.
Nick that night too with Ben.
Yeah,
Remember when Ben Jones
yeah.
we were all standing in that little circle talking?
yeah.
It's like the
Ben had a phenomenal showing, by the way. A phenomenal
He
showing.
really did. He really did.
I am very excited, but I do have a little warning for you, Arya. I'm coming for it all. Just fucking know that, buddy. I'm coming
We
for
are
it all.
coming for everything.
Yeah, Arya's gonna turn to the Lawania when it's all fucking done, dude. It's gonna turn to Lawania. So better focus up. Let's take a 5-minute break. Let's load up our tier
Um,
talks.
Should we talk at all about the Lamar Jackson stuff? We don't have to. We even
What he's getting franchise tagged?
all the stuff that's going on out there. People
Yeah.
are losing their minds right now. Like
Yeah.
losing their minds. There's a lot of arguing going on.
So I don't know what you've heard about Lamar. I've heard that him and the Ravens are not cool. He's basically like, fuck the Ravens. There was a moment there where we heard about the Falcons. A reliable source told us that it's
Very
not.
reliable.
Went to tweet
source.
something out, missed it by 15 seconds, boys. They said they're franchise tagging him. So now in the franchise tag, they can trade. People can still trade for Lamar.
The thing that the Ravens did is they put a non-exclusive franchise tag on him. Like again, we'll be talking this interview with Kirk. We kind of talk about that because he's a guy who's gotten guaranteed contracts 3 years at a time,
Yeah.
and he's been very brainiac about his approach. But when Kirk was going through it, they would franchise tag him. He got franchise tagged twice, 2 years in a row, and never got a long-term deal. And Lamar's trying to get a long-term deal, fully guaranteed, just like Kirk was trying to get at the time as well. But the Ravens put on a non-exclusive tag, meaning he can test the market, which I think if we're going full objective business side of it, putting yourself in the Ravens shoes, they're probably willing to pay him, in my opinion, but they don't want to overpay him if they don't have to. Like,
Right.
hey, go out there and fish, go out there and see what you can get. Because the non-exclusive tag, you either trade 2 first-round picks or you get to match the contract that the team is offering Lamar.
Right.
So it puts them in a position to be like, hey, go see what your market is, and then we can make a decision after that. Now, all the emotion and stuff involved, like all that kind of stuff, I'm not as privy to,
Mhm.
but I do understand Lamar wanting a fully, like you see what Deshaun Watson did last year, right? And got that fully guaranteed deal for like
Yeah.
200 something million,
230, I believe
over
it was.
what, 5 years?
Yeah.
Like he got a massive. You're
You
seeing
see-
these quarterbacks getting these high
Daniel
guaranteed-
Jones just got paid $43 million a year.
right? Which
crazy.
seems asinine. Now, like me thinking about it, it's like, okay, maybe the Giants, like whoever's running their stuff, they're not, they ultimately just paid Daniel Jones when they probably didn't have to pay him all that money because they're two different organizations. It's
Mhm.
not like just because Daniel gets paid and Lamar doesn't mean everyone thinks like, oh, this is absurd. Why wouldn't they do that? There's some colluding going on. And I know that it's a little thought or a conspiracy out there that they're not paying Lamar. And then ultimately all the teams are publicly coming out to say, we don't want to shop Lamar or have a market for Lamar because they're trying to collude in a sense to let people know that they're not going to be paying fully guaranteed deals and
Interesting.
get off of the standard that Deshaun was trying to set when he reached out to
Deshaun
market.
really started with Kirk Cousins, who's on the
Right.
episode today.
Right. But which, by the way, Deshaun's even looking at restructuring his deal so that they can pay other guys in the market. It's the last.
Yeah, but that restructure, you can keep the guaranteed all you want. All you do is just take the salary and put it into a signing bonus and pay him the minimum that year as far as the salary, and just the cap is no longer as big of a hit.
Yeah.
Like it all depends on how much money a team has to give you. Now I know there's a cap, but some
Yeah.
have
Explain
more cash flow than other. So if the cap is at like 210,
because there's a thought. I guess what I'm saying that you can speak to, is like the cap doesn't exist, right?
the
talk
cap's
about-
not real.
people
For
talk
those of you
about the
wondering, the
cap,
cap is not a real
and then
thing.
people say the cap's not real.
Yeah.
And then you can go into kind of explain that teams who are cash heavy or not.
Right.
Then you can.
So two teams. Well, one team that's a cash heavy team is the Dallas Cowboys. You see it the way they did Tyron Smith's deal. It was like a $100 million 10-year deal. Which when you see that $100 million, like holy fuck, I think it was 8 years. You're like holy fuck, that's great, but they're only paying him 10 a year. So you can do stuff like that. They put guys on long-winded deals, like 5, 6, 7-year deals. But what teams do when they get put in a position, like the Saints, like the Titans were in before a couple weeks ago when they started snipping a bunch of people, is they get below that cap number. All you have to do is get below the cap number before a certain date. Let's call it March 1st. Let's just say it's March 1st. Once you get below that, now the cap for that year really doesn't matter. If you're a team that thinks they can win and actually has the liquidity to go and get those players, you can take your top 3 guys, turn their money for that year into a signing bonus. And once you do that, you've cleared up a shitload of cap.
So here's a good question, which would be a good example. You were owed what 14 point something against the cap this year, and they're like, oh, they freed up 14 million. If in this example they would have taken that 14 million and put it into a signing bonus, they would have cleared that same sort of cleared.
They wouldn't
that
be able to
same
do the
number?
14 million. They do like 13.5, and then because if I was owed 14.5, then I make $1 million that year. So my
But you would
game
only be
checks-
a million to the.
I would be $1 million. And now there are some smaller things, like it wouldn't be $1 million. My dead cap would now be higher. So really, when you're transitioning that, when you're restructuring someone's deal to this is their salary, we're taking their salary, we're putting it into a signing bonus. When you do that, you're basically pushing your problem down the road. You're saying, hey, a couple of years we're gonna have to deal with this. That's an issue, but we can win now. And we have an owner that has the ability to shekel out this kind of money.
Because they're cash heavy.
Because they're cash heavy. There are teams, like people who own these teams, obviously are extremely wealthy individuals. Some of these people who own teams, the NFL is their main source of income. Like that's like their main source. Other people have other money and they're able to acquire.
Their NFL team's kind of
Buddy
like
from
a
the
write-off.
Jags is a perfect example of this kind of guy. You always see like back in like 2015, 16, 17, when the Jags were like kind of like, hey shit, they went to the AFC Championship. They were kind of doing something. They were Saxonville. You'd see guys just getting signed over and over, $45, $50 million deals, $60 million deals. And you're like, how the fuck does it happen? It's because Buddy's got bags. And so he knows you can put it into a signing bonus, move these guys. You take a guy like Calais Campbell, who you know is a stud for you. He knows he's going to produce that year. Okay, go ahead and put that into a signing bonus. He's going to make $1 million, and then we can go sign this dude, and this dude. Imagine if they had Doug Peterson back then. Holy shit.
Right.
I think they didn't have him. They didn't have him. But anyway, there is a lot of things you can do to manipulate the cap. It doesn't make all your problems go away, but it does take away those problems now, like a short term. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. We're a couple pieces away. We need some big names, some big talent in here. That's when you can go and get a couple of guys, free up some cap. Like the Bills, for example. I don't know who their owner is. I don't know how cash heavy they are, but they're a close team. I don't know how far they are away from the cap either. But they could easily take Josh Allen's contract, restructure half of that. What's he making? $45 million? Okay, so now it's at $25 million. And he has a $25 million signing bonus. He makes $20 million a year. But that other 20, now you can go and sign other guys.
And then push that problem back.
Push that problem a couple years back, because the dead cap's gonna go farther and farther down the road. And the issues that run into that are guys that get older. Let's say Josh runs into a situation like I did, where he has a couple years of injuries, not on the field as much. He's out there, he's doing great, but do we know if he's really going to be out there the whole season? And then you look at his dead cap, and his dead cap's at $35 million. So I'm like, it's like, oh fuck, we can't cut that because that just kills everything.
Yeah.
So.
Talking to another reliable source about the Lamar Jackson stuff, the question was, why don't you think, why do you think teams are publicly saying this and that? Or like, why are teams, does it seem like they're not going to pay Lamar? Not going to pay, but why is it such a big story? And his response was that he feels like a lot of teams, there's a reminder of a few years back when the NBA started to make those massive jumps in contracts. The same kind of things happening with some quarterbacks over the last couple of years. And you see a lot of these teams that have done that. Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson. Yeah, but not Mahomes. There's also another one.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen was up there, but there was like a top 4.
Russell Wilson.
Was it Russell?
Yeah, Russ got
Russell.
up.
Yeah, Russell. So let's say Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers. And the response on top of that was a lot of those teams now that did those heavy deals for quarterbacks, they're now trying to actually get out of them or maneuver their way around them.
Right.
Because they haven't worked out in the short term as much as they had hoped. So a lot of teams are probably sitting back like, yeah, the market that Lamar and all these guys are arguing for, that market's there because it's been established. But a lot of probably ownership or in those leadership groups that are paying this money are probably looking at like, hang on now, we gotta try to reel this in, because we're seeing it with these other teams. Like Deshaun Watson's is looking at possibly restructuring his deal. The Packers are in hell with Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson, we saw how that's played out. Kyler Murray, we see how that's playing out when they were hiring the next head coach. So a lot of teams are like taking this, I feel like, into account on being like, hey, before we go into this, and again, Lamar, he was injured this year. And he did the right thing not playing. He made the right move.
Yeah.
But again, that's also going to be used as leverage. This is why this whole thing's a battle right now. Both sides are kind of doing the right thing and letting the world, I guess, freak out about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's a little bit more controlled behind the scenes than what it seems like in the media
Right.
realm.
And it goes back to the tactical strategies that people are doing. Like teams will do strategic things, and players will do strategic things, and then everyone's kind of playing that game of chess that we always talk about.
Yeah.
Like they're both trying to. Lamar's like, great, I get to go see what everybody else wants. Lamar might get there in a couple of days when free agency starts and be like,
Exactly.
fuck, dude, this is not what I thought it would be. Or it might be the exact opposite. He might go to a Commanders or something like that. He might go to a different team. But the Ravens are sitting there and they're like, this is our best pawn. This is our best chess piece to move right now to show that he's not worth what he thinks he's worth.
Right. Yeah.
On the topic of him, since what's the franchise tag they put him on?
The non-exclusive.
Non-exclusive.
franchise tag.
So another team would have to give up 2 first-round picks
Mhm.
Or
or
match the
match
contract
it.
they've offered.
So do they get to pick which years they give up those first-round picks?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a really good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What if it's like, yeah, I'll give you one this year and one in 10 years?
yeah. I'm
You know,
sure it
it's
wouldn't.
like
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
probably
there's probably
something.
if that is if
specific
you're able to
which
do it, there's
team
probably a
picks
cap.
and which team picks.
Good question for Ziegler.
I can't. Yeah, that's a great question for Zig. I can't wait for one day because I think we will get Lamar Jackson on at some point.
Yeah,
can't
I
wait
agree
to
with that.
Pack all that one day. And see
I
how it
know.
happens.
Well, I heard on the
cannot wait.
radio.
I'm curious too how the whole approach has been without an agent. Because even guys who don't have agents, they still get to use the NFLPA and probably consult with people, I would assume, and
Advisors of some
you
sort.
kind of hope happens. But either way, I can't wait to just pick his brain on how all this has went for him, especially posturing that way with him representing himself.
The last time, I'm pretty sure this has only happened like a handful of times in the NFL, and I'm probably wrong, but the last time this happened, I think, was Elway.
Johnny.
With just the
The-
situation,
Yeah, the what is it? Non-restrictive free. Yeah, non-exclusive.
the non-exclusive tag. I was gonna say the only thing I can,
So it's
yeah,
super
it's
rare.
like, it's like Kirk. He had the exclusive franchise tag, so he was like under contract. He wanted to get paid before the first franchise tag. They wouldn't franchise tagged him. The second one, he wanted to try and work out a deal. They wouldn't. So he got the transitional tag or whatever it's called. There's like 2 or 3 tags.
Imagine if the Commanders had Kirk right now, though.
I know.
They'd be sitting so much more pretty
Yeah,
because he's panned out. He's done it.
yeah.
There's a lot of knocks on him. Hey, he can't win a primetime game. All that shit. It's like he's still a stud. And he can rip it.
Yeah, and he talks about that. That's what would be good for everybody
Yeah.
to listen to.
I can't wait for you guys to listen to that. Let's do tier talk. Because tier talk is so like personal based, we're gonna designate it to one person. I believe that person is gonna be Garrett. Garrett is gonna do the tier talk this week. So you will see me, you will see Will, and you will see Garrett do that. All right, took a quick break from this episode to do a little homework on TikTok. Garrett was ready, I was ready, but obviously Will showed up a little on time, so we didn't have time to break everything down. We will now start with Garrett. Garrett, what do you got for your tier talk?
Oh, we got to get down to 3.
I know.
I
it's
got
really
five.
Should we do a
hard.
top 5? Should we do a top
Top
5?
five.
I
Tier,
have
5
3.
tiers, 1 honorable
All right,
mention.
hey, well, Will will go
I'll
first
just do
then.
my 3, and then y'all can do as many as you want.
All right.
All right, so best albums. These are ones that were just at a pivotal moment, I feel like, in my life.
Middle school, high school.
Exactly.
No question. It's everybody's pivotal moments of their life, bro.
So tier 3 is going to be Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon, the first one. It was electric when it first came out.
Fire.
Electric. Tier 2 is going to be Mechanical Bull, Kings of Leon. That one came at the end of, that came actually
2014.
my first, in college, right at the beginning. It's got the feels, it's got the rock, it's phenomenal. Tier 1, Keeping It in the Family, Only by the Night, Kings of Leon. That was when I started driving in high school and also partaking in extracurricular. Shout out to the fucking Turtle Clan. That was
Oh,
our
shit,
crew
that was
in
your
high
boys?
school. That was our crew in high school.
All right.
Little
I like that.
little backstory on Turtle Clan. When they were building neighborhoods in Brentwood, we hit a little dry spot. So only the roads were paved. No houses were going up for a long time. We would go to the farthest back cul-de-sac and just chill.
Get high.
Yes. And drink and listen to
That was
Only
like the
by the
spot,
Night.
I
And
bet.
it was the fucking spot. And that album is incredible. There's an inside joke between Jack and I that when you're hungover, take a shower in the dark and listen to Cold Desert, and you will wake up a new man.
Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah.
Hey, if we're running back on little stories, the song I walked out to was a song from Mechanical Bull. I wasn't Super Soaker. It was I was running through the desert.
Rock
I was
City.
Rock City, bro. When I got drafted, we had like walk-up songs, and that's the song I came out to. That's how I met Jared.
Well, so 2015 when they did the New Year's Eve here.
Banger.
was-
I was at that.
Yeah.
So
I was
good.
gonna say that was right when you got
Me
here.
and the girl I was dating were got in a big fight. I actually missed the concert.
It was
Bitch.
yeah. Those are my three.
Man. I was running through the desert. I was looking for drugs, and I was searching for. All right, one word.
Willing to love.
Mm.
Take it like
One word.
Fire.
Thank you.
Addiction.
Yes.
All right, Willie. You want me to go? Or you want to go?
They're not going back there?
But we would have
Come
everybody.
on, Jack.
No, I can't. I was gonna give it one word though. Rockin'.
Passion.
Phase.
Ooh.
You should have saved that. Hey, you should have saved that for me. I'm about to be off in my shit in a second.
I mean, I can go.
I'll go. I'll go. You seem not confident yet.
No, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. My tier 7.
Bro.
All right. Not that many, but I do want to give shout outs to ZZ Top Eliminator, that's Sharp Dressed Man, that's Give Me All Your Lovin', and also Back in Black AC/DC 1980. We're talking Hell's Bells,
Yeah.
Back in Black, obviously.
Yeah.
But dude, I think what I was trying to look for in the AC/DC albums, because I'm like, man, hopefully they're all like, kind of in like AC/DC's greatest hits. But dude, my dad and I went to a AC/DC concert one time, and there's nothing but fucking hits from AC/DC, bro. Nothing but hits.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting you, brother.
No, I'm with you on ACDC.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm with you. I saw Jack change his glasses. So I was, like, I was laughing at that.
All right, my so that's that's shout out to the boys. But my tier 5 is gonna be Drake, Take Care. Hell yeah, fucking right. Shot for Me, Marvin's Room.
Oh, dude, Marvin's Room was a
Back
banger.
in 2011 when we're in college, bro, like, the culture's in it, like we're vibing to Drake.
Yeah, vibing.
Vibing to Drake.
Vibing to Drake.
Just
Bro.
on the outside looking in. You know what? No. Okay, I got to switch a couple. My going off that same vibe, like in college, the Carter 3, Lil Wayne.
You were
When
in
that
college
came
for
out-
that?
Yeah.
Oh, that came out my senior year of high school. You're a year older than me. Okay,
Like, oh, wait, right? Yeah. Lollipop.
Banger,
Yo,
bro.
Lollipop was a fucking jam. I think everybody wanted to sound cool on the whole latex when he did the whole
Yeah, you don't want that latex.
better wear a latex, because you don't want that latex that I think I'm latex. Like everyone tried dropping that lyric thinking like, yo, I listen to that Lollipop. Yeah. Just captions. Millie, like Mr. and Mrs. Carter, all bangers. My tier 3. And here's where I got to get in and talk about albums that like that you listen to, that like probably you listen to the most on repeat. And then also like something I really dove into and like felt and like, yo, this shit low key like changes me. My tier 3 is gonna be Nickelback. All the right reasons. You got Photograph, Animals, Saving Me, Rockstar, and If Everyone Cared. Like Nickelback, I know that might get some hate and some backlash, but Nickelback, bro, first concert I went to was Nickelback. Old man made me go to Aerosmith with him, but willingly wanted to go to Nickelback. I feel like Nickelback was a fucking banger. Fortunately, we got to interview them when we had them on, and I got to give them their flowers and felt good doing it. But
I wish that pod was longer.
yeah,
It's not out yet. It's not out yet. It's coming out next week.
yeah, and then obviously the earlier album, How You Remind Me, I wish that one was on there too. But Nickelback, when that thing was out, fire. My tier 2 is gonna go to NF, Therapy Session. NF's got several albums, and there might be a lot of people out there that aren't as privy to the NF wave. NF has Mansions, Therapy Session,
Search.
The Search, Perception, fire artist. This is like, I got on Eminem. Shout out Adam Hayward. Adam Hayward was a teammate of mine in Washington in 2014, and he put me on NF. His first album then at that point was Mansion. And NF is somebody who is like literally album after album can go and continue to dig deep down in all those emotions that he had, because he's big into therapy and his mind and everything else. And somebody who like goes into the basement and can truly story tell and put things together. And all of his albums call back to each other. It's like it's genius that like I every time he drops something, I listen to his album in sequence because it's like truly a story that I love to listen to his albums in sequence. But he's been there in so many pivotal points in my life too, like in Washington, Charo, like when I was finding my wife in Charo. When my mom passed away, he was somebody. He has stuff that, again, he's able to dig in the basement and relate to you on such a crazy level. But tier 2, NF. My tier 1, salute to the fucking king, Eminem, bro. Curtain Call. He said, "Oh, Curtain Call." The Way I Am, Lose Yourself, Mockingbird. What else do I have on here? Sing for the Moment, Stan, Without Me. All fucking bangers. All bangers. You want to do a Eminem show? Fire. His LPs, fire. But my favorite Eminem album is Curtain Call. That is my tier talk. I wish I could do more. Music is so fucking hard, bro. Music is so hard.
Bro, when you
But that's my
said
tier talk.
also on the NF, dude, How Could You Leave? First time you heard that song, did you not
Could
cry?
you leave us? Absolutely. Yeah.
The first time I heard that song, I bawled my fucking eyes out
Yeah.
in the
No.
car by myself.
It's incredible. It's incredible how he can, and again, he doesn't cuss, doesn't say, doesn't do all that stuff that it takes like a lot of rappers do. He does it on such a level and speaks to your fucking soul.
That was outstanding.
Yeah, speaks to your fucking soul. And he was labeled, I know at one point, I don't know if he still is, but I'm pretty sure, but like a Christian rapper, yeah? But throw that shit out the window. It ain't that. This is like an Eminem type vibe. Just
Flow,
yeah,
he can go
clean, so
fast, he can go
clean.
slow, he can sing.
it's nuts, bro. It's
Bro,
nuts.
he is a stud artist. That was incredible.
Thank you. I was sweating, like trying to
Brother,
put me on this.
one word. Incredible.
Hype.
Impact.
A lot.
White.
That needed to be said, bro. That needed to be
said.
That list is gonna come out there, and it's gonna be fun.
Hey, I'll tell you what, you should have saved both of those for mine because we're about to take a little ride from 2001 to 2005 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, boys, we're taking a ride down memory lane. I do have 2 honorable mentions in this situation. I got to give flowers to a band that got me back into country music. I thought country music for a while was getting a little too beaty, a little too much this, a little too much that. They've been on the podcast a few times. I got to give it to Midland on the Rocks. When they came out, all like Drinking Problems, I got to pull it up because they have so many hitters. I'm just so, bro, listen to this. On the Rocks, Lonely for You, Make a Little, Drinking Problems, At Least You Cried, Burnout, Out of Sight, More Than a Fever. Bro, this album, when I popped it on, I immediately called my buddy Nick Bennett. I was like, buddy, how do you feel about new country music? He goes, I fucking hate it. Nick's got a lot of opinions when it comes to country music. I had him throw this on. He called me an hour and a half later and goes, you were right. They're fucking incredible. So that is one of my honorable mentions. My second honorable mention, spoiler alert, it's going to go to Blink-182. And the only reason why it's not in my top 3 is because I already got a Blink-1 in there and I want to have a little more of a deal. But
That fires me up.
Blink-182, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Bro, first off, I was like 27 when I figured out that Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Did you get that? Because I remember looking at the album and it's black and it has like little colors and it's like literally a pant and jacket and it's like a plane. And I'm like, bro, yeah, that's a cool logo, I guess, but I'm 10. So I'm like, I don't fucking know. Dude, Anthem Part 2. When that song just starts in the album, you're like, I know I'm in for it. Online song. First Date. That music video is a fucking hitter. And then you get to switch it up to Happy Holidays, You Bastard. It's like a little split in between the music for a little fun bullshit. The Rock Show, Roller Coaster, Reckless Abandon, Shut Up. Give me one good reason. Dude, it is so fucking all time. That is it. Now, that's all I have for that. Those are my honorable mentions. My tier 3. Not everyone's going to see eye to eye to this. For me, when I think of my favorite albums of all time, it's what album can I put on and know every single word to every single track and sing every single song, no problem. And this tier 3 to me, don't know why it's such a banger. Panic at the Disco, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. All of those songs, dude, the vocabulary that motherfucker has, how he rips and flows and then it changes beats and all of a sudden he like uses intricate like fucking violins and shit, like violins and like an orchestra type stuff. And at the same time, he's just putting heat down over and over and over again. So that is my tier 3. My tier 2, once again, is going to go back to a time in my life when I was living on the ranch. This album came out. We actually brought it up on the Midland podcast, and they were very disrespectful to it. Is Big and Rich, a horse of a different color. Very unique, interesting blend of country music that a lot of people are probably against. But for me, it's just one of those. I remember sitting in my mom's truck. She had a red F-150 with stick shift. And we'd always go to this place called Kokomo Joe's. I would call it Tiki Taylor's because I just thought that was like a fun little bit I was doing when I was 13, 14 years old. And we would listen to that back and forth, back and forth. It's like where we ate every day for like a summer. And for me, I was like, bro, I still put that on. I remember like going back to the ranch, chasing down goats, trying to learn how to rope and do a whole bunch of fun shit.
Mhm.
So that's like a level of nostalgia for me that had to get into my tier talk. And obviously my tier one. Got to go back to the greatest band of all time. We know who I'm talking about because I've already mentioned them. It's Blink-182. Their self-titled album, Blink-182 from 2003. Let me just give you a couple songs on here. Feeling This. Are you fucking kidding me? I Miss You. All right. Does he say Head?
Yeah.
Does he say Ed? We don't fucking know. Stockholm Syndrome. Down. Go. Dude, it's always Easy Target. Like this album I put on. Dude, shout out Alex Maxudian, the emo girl I was into in middle school, dude. We would get off the bus. She'd have her hair covering up her left eye. And I had the biggest, a little bit of a thick girl too now. All right. She didn't have like a body on her or anything. But for whatever reason, Alex Maxudian, I was like the love of my life at 12, 13 years old. One day I asked her out. She said yes. I was like, holy fuck, boys. We've made it. I'm playing. There's already wedding bells going on in my head. 4 days later, I go to her house. I haven't heard from her in 4 days, by the way. She wasn't answering my aim. So I was like, oh, fuck. I go to her house, call her. She comes over the back of her wall in her backyard and hands me a letter. It's ripped out of a notebook. It's got lipstick kiss on it. And it's a breakup letter of why she can't be with me. We didn't talk for the 4 days we were dating, but your boy took it harder than anybody could possibly take it. I put this album on and it saved me, bro. Who knows where I would have been if it wasn't for Blink-182's Blink-182 from 2003. Incredible, incredible album. We just took a little ride back. And that is my tier talk.
What'd you say for mine?
Incredible.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say for yours, but
ours are so different. So different.
I know, but that's what I love about this,
And all
Like,
your
you're-
shit was
you're-
hitters
you're-
too. I
yeah.
literally was like, man, I could have put those in mine too.
bro. I know, and
I
you're-
remember the Carter 3.
yeah, and again, you're saying stuff again. It's speaking to just a different. It's like all the different phases of your life, man. And you talked about a breakup. Like, remember Usher, bro?
Oh, yeah,
Confessions?
dude.
Like, there's so many. There's so much good music,
Music's a powerful thing.
and then when you're talking about Panic at the Disco, for whatever reason, they're very different. But I started even thinking about Linkin Park. Remember when Linkin Park was
Yeah.
hot back then, bro?
Yeah, dude. Here we go for the 100th time. Hand grenade pins in every line.
Yeah.
Throw 'em up and let something.
You're definitely somebody like zero albums I've said do I know every song, every word. Like, you're somebody who can, I feel like, pick up lyrics. Like
Yeah, I don't know
my
why.
younger brother Cody was always really good at that. He always knew every fucking lyric, and I can never pick that shit up.
You know Chris Arnold? He could listen to a song 100 times and he'll never get he'll get 1 out of 7 words. But he'll
Yeah.
sing it like he knows it.
I'll get like a few phrases in each song. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Oh,
I will.
brother.
I'll continue to sing it. I'll just not get it right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
masterpiece.
Yeah.
Bro, when we
But
play masterpiece and we sing that song, I look at you and you're just kind of mumbling in the corner to yourself, hitting it.
pivotal. That's my word. Pivotal.
Hyphenated good time.
Mm.
It's gonna come as a shot, but predictable.
That's okay.
Blink.
Hyphenated as well. Monster Energy.
For real, dude.
I thought that was fire. That was
For
fun to talk
fucking
about.
real,
That was
bro.
fun to talk about. It's like you can't necessarily. I guess you could go wrong, but not really.
No, because it's you.
Yeah.
It's just what you grew up
And
on.
even
And
so
it's always what you grew up on. It's never
Oh, yeah,
now.
for sure.
It's never now. Because in 10 years, then that'll be the next one,
And
dude.
speaking of now, those now albums.
Bro,
changed
those
our
are
lives, bro.
Yes!
God, now 4.
Dude,
Blue
I
Dabba
pulled
D.
my groin doing that.
Blue Dabba D. I think track.
Bro, now 4 might have been the
I think
best
track-
one.
I think track 4.
I don't know because yeah, Punk Goes Pop was solid too, but it wasn't now. But Punk Goes Pop is a legit Punk Goes Pop is like a hardcore metal band that sing like trendy pop songs.
Got you.
And they were fire actually.
Got you.
Devil Wears Prada, dude, what's the song they sing? Oh, they sing a fucking banger. Yeah, you just kind of go on there like, yo, who the fuck are these guys, dude? LimeWire.
What are you on right now, Garrett?
Speaking of now, as of February 3rd, 2023, we are on Now 85.
Wow.
And I thought the
wonder if
numbers would be
kids are even
higher.
still
I did
taking-
too.
I wonder if kids are even still taking that in.
I just remember the
I'm telling you,
commercial.
when we were young, you would cop the Now
I
CD.
just
Bro, if
remember
you
the
got the
commercial.
CD,
Yeah.
I remember Easter every year. I would get the Now CD. I'm like, yo,
Hey, look up Now 4 and see when the like Blue Dabba D is.
That is,
gotta
that is.
know.
I think it's track 4.
I had that one.
I think it is
I
actually.
had that
track
one
4.
on repeat on my CD Walkman, bro.
Yeah. Now listen up.
Here's the
Oh,
story.
dude. No. Oh fuck.
Oh, it looks like 5. If
Number
that's
5.
if that is the sequence. And another one I'm thinking of too, when middle school.
Bro, Meet Virginia.
Oh
Fucking
man,
hitter,
Lil
bro.
Jon and the East Side Boys.
Oh, middle school dances.
Dude, get low, bro.
La, la, la. Bro, we'd be at middle school, dude. Guys on one side, girls on the other, and to the window. We're like,
Yeah, guys.
looking at him from afar, to the wall. You know? Bro, for real. And you fucking go up and you're like, bro, middle schoolers grinding at each other. Is there not a funnier? Imagine being like a chaperone at one of those middle schools watching 13-year-old boys just fucking grind that shit out.
But there's
Probably
only-
nutting
there-
in their pants a
There's
little
only
bit.
a couple, because everybody else is like,
Oh.
it's like the posture in the play, like, oh, I think I'm gonna go. And they're like, go do it. And you're like, don't push me. Don't push me.
Yeah, like if you get out of it, if you
Dude,
get out of the circle a little bit, you're out. And they're
the
gonna get your
anxiety of
ass.
feeling a push towards a go do this, and you're just like, no,
And then
no.
you get low key
Man,
mad.
I'm fucking cool. No, I'm
Chill,
not mad
bro.
at that. Just like,
I'm not
let
about that
me-
dancing. You know I don't like
Yeah.
dancing.
Yeah, just let me pick my
Dude,
shot.
But there's always like those that weird couple that found each other. Like they were both kind of weirdos, and they like started dating. And they make out real hard in the hallways,
Crazy.
hard. And they're in the middle of that shit, just
Yeah.
fucking getting after it, bro. And everyone's like, "Holy fuck!" Low key, looking back, you're like, "Yo, I wish I was that
I
confident."
know, bro.
Dude.
Good on them kids.
For real, bro.
Good on them kids.
Yeah, I hate to bring this up because the Fred Warner podcast just came out, but Julie Giordano went to middle school with her, dude. I was staring her ass down in fucking Desert Canyon. You want this, Julie? And she's like, what the fuck is this guy about, dude? What a wild. She DM'd me. So, dub?
So, enjoy the Kirk Cousins episode.
What a vibe to end the intro.
I know. What a
Brother.
great vibe. We'll get back on that. We'll get back on that vibe because that's, man, the music out there is just endless.
Dude, I can't wait to see people's fucking top 3 albums of all time. Because you're going to sit there and look in those comments and just be like, damn, that is a good one.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
fuck. Man. I did have some
Do
other.
we have any ad reads?
No, but we can shout out
All right.
all of the women in our lives. Even though this will come out tomorrow, today is International Women's Day. Shout out to the women.
Shout out to
the
them. Shout out to
beautiful-
Talon.
We love
Shout out
you.
to Charo. Shout out to, shout out to international women, dude.
Come on, baby.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, baby.
Jack's living tonight.
Did you
We're in Vegas.
did you talk about at the beginning the spring tour tickets?
No, I'm not joking. Like we said we're gonna do a prank and then talked about
That's
pissing through a toilet and shitting.
and
like
that's
breaking toilets.
gonna go on the backside of Kirk.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It can go on bus scenes. Yeah, it can go on bus scenes. It'll be on YouTube. We will tell you where it's at. I mean, it's not.
We're telling you.
But trust me,
It'll
we're
be
not
on
breaking
YouTube
shit down
somewhere,
that you
yeah.
guys need to know about. But it is a fun little hang between the
Post show,
boys.
the post show.
Yeah, the post show.
Well, with
Do
that,
you remember the post show?
yeah, it was fun. It was
That
fun.
shit was
Couple
funny
shows,
as hell.
Fun couple little episodes. But our spring tour tickets, South Carolina and Texas, they're on sale. They are on sale right now.
And they're going fast.
They're going fast at a snail's pace. The fastest snail in the fucking.
The only thing you
game.
need to know is tickets are being bought.
Yeah, tickets are being tickets.
So don't wait
being
too long,
bought.
dude. This is a classic tortoise and a hare situation.
Yeah.
We're
But
the
hey, one
tortoise.
ticket at a time. Keep stacking the tickets, dude.
Yeah.
Keep stacking a ticket at a time.
Yeah.
Doesn't
And
matter.
dude, shout out Nashville, bro. You fucking got our heads a little big with Zanies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be a hell of a time. I don't care if there's 6 people in there.
We're still them.
No
Doesn't
question.
matter if there's 50 there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the greatest time in the fucking world.
World.
Yeah. But anyway, go cop those. Enjoy the Kirk Cousins episode.
Buy the merch, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. 300's happened. We achieve one goal. Let's go to the next. 400K. Here we fucking come. Everywhere. We're rolling, right?
Everyone's
We're good.
Yeah.
Make sure when you talk, you have the microphone up to your mouth.
tight to the mouth.
If
Don't
you
be
didn't hear
afraid.
Kirk, he said that his oldest kid is extremely smart, but he's not going to be Michael Jordan. How does that make you feel? Would you rather your kid be smart or
No,
athletic?
I'm good. I feel like I've played enough sports for several generations, so I'm good.
Oh.
But I would.
That is a nice. Nice comment.
Kirko Thuggins.
But I would like to see my kids do well in school. So we're set up well there.
Dude, on that note, you are like one of the trailblazers, I feel like, for getting guaranteed contracts. I've tried talking about it. I mean, I've talked about it several times about how you went about doing it, but can you walk everybody through how you put yourself in that situation to get was it the first fully guaranteed quarterback contract that big?
I think so. I don't know quite going back. I don't quite know all the history, but it was 100% my agent. I remember sitting at the Super Bowl after my rookie year, and Joe Flacco was about to be a free agent, and he was also about to quarterback in the Super Bowl. And we sat there. I knew nothing about contracts, and my agent said, what the Ravens are going to be able to do is either sign him to a long-term deal or they're going to have to franchise tag him twice. And so the entire negotiation will be based off of 2 franchise tags and what those 2 franchise tags are worth, and that's what they'll have to negotiate off of. And so I didn't know 4 years later I'd be in a similar spot where I'd finish my season, be coming to free agency, and my agent just said, this is Joe Flacco all over again. It's a 2-year franchise tag. That'll be the foundation of any negotiation. And he said, what I'd like to do is, because I see those 2 years being basically guaranteed, I'd like to just do a 3-year deal fully guaranteed. And he offered that to the team, and obviously they were not interested in that model. And he just said, okay, then we'll do the 2 franchise tags. And, 2 years from now, and I'm, simplifying it a little bit, but he said 2 years from now, we'll go to free agency and try to get that same deal, a 3-year deal fully guaranteed. And so that's literally what happened. I just watched my agent basically exercise what he had spoken about Joe Flacco after my rookie year, did it with me, kind of called his shot, if you will, and watched the next 5 years unfold exactly the way he said.
Isn't there some risk involved in doing that and trying to get to the market?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, injuries certainly, but if you don't play well, and I think I was in a great spot because I had great players around me, great coaches around me, and was in a place where I felt I could have success. I could be effective. And so I didn't feel like I needed to just take a deal. I think sometimes as a player, you take a deal because you're concerned about maybe your play going down. And I thought, no, I think I'm going to keep improving, and I've got great people around me. So I'm okay going year to year. And certainly it worked out.
When you were going through the process with your agent telling you that, was there ever a point of resistance for you where, just like you talked about, like, hey, listen, like, what about if I get injured? Things you can't control, right? Everyone has confidence in their ability to play, but sometimes freak things happen on the field and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's a great question. I think the short answer is no. I was very comfortable with his plan and what he was doing. I knew there was risk, but I also felt like I had seen Tom Brady tear his ACL in 2008, and he comes back and plays another, decade plus. So Carson Palmer's done the same thing. I think twice torn his knee and come back and played at a Pro Bowl level. So I felt like even with an injury, you can come back at quarterback. I do think that the position was unique. There are other positions where I don't think you would want to do what we did.
Now, I think what's cool about this is I got to sit with you several times. Like we were boys on the Skins, and explain how it was important for you to even to get to free agency, because you were thinking about that stuff ahead of time. I remember sitting with you in a meeting and talking, like, whenever the PA or anybody would talk about contracts, and back, what you need is somebody to get somebody higher, in status to get to free agency, so that way they can start the domino effect for this stuff. And I know that was like a goal of yours to do something like that.
Yeah, my agent had always said that no real great player goes to the market. Teams don't let them leave their building. And, that's so common to just take a good deal. I mean, I think it's smart. Why need to go to the market if a team is offering you a great deal that accomplishes what you're trying to accomplish? But he did always say that somebody going to the market is the only way you could actually get guaranteed money more than just 1 or 2 years. So that was part of why going to the market, it was part of why I think my agent wanted to get a fully guaranteed deal was, hey, we did all this to get to the market. We're going to try to get this structure. But, it wasn't a model that I think a lot of people have tried to follow since then. I think Deshaun Watson was pretty much able to be a free agent while still having a contract, which was a unique situation.
Yeah.
So,
in general.
he's probably the other one who who was able to do it. But I do think there, have been guys who have benefited certainly from whenever another player goes to the market, another player does something. I think the whole league or all the players benefit from that in some way.
Yeah. So if you have the model of fully guaranteed contract and you hear fully guaranteed, people are like, that sounds amazing. Why do you think that people have not followed that?
I
Like,
was
why?
very surprised people didn't follow suit.
Because it seems like that's when I was, I met Will when I was kind of going through my contract negotiations, and we just met, and he's like, why don't you do a fully guaranteed? And I'm like, brother, like I can't do that.
Give me a year or
I'm in
two,
like
Yeah.
we're 3 weeks into our friendship. He's like, why don't you do a fully guaranteed? And I was like, I don't think that's how this shit works for me.
Okay, Kirk
Being a
Cousins.
left tackle, because
Yeah.
the way we've said this on our show before is quarterbacks, the big time players need to be the ones to get the fully guaranteed contract. So it becomes a normal thing, a trickle down effect for everybody else, position by position. And so you go and do it. You're the unicorn. And we don't know the whole history, but it seems like you're the only guy that's done fully guaranteed contracts and it's worked. The bank account is
Yeah.
doing fantastic. And so why do you think these players are not following suit with that blueprint?
I think there's still pretty good contracts out there that are hard to turn down. And I think that it's still life changing. And I understand why they take that way they do the deals they do. I don't think you need to go to free agency. I think you can still have a great contract and change, your life, your family's life. There's so much that, again, it's hard to turn down something that's on the table like that. I do remember when Matt Ryan, just like a month after I signed my free agent contract in Minnesota, Matt Ryan signed his 5-year extension, and it was the first 3 years were guaranteed, but there were 2 more years on. So it wasn't a fully guaranteed deal. And I texted my agent to say, so it sounds like, the next quarterback wasn't going to follow our pattern like you're asking. And my agent texted back and he said, no, actually the opposite. The first 3 years are fully guaranteed, and it's for a lot more than what you got.
Yeah.
So his point was like, he would never have gotten that structure of 3 years fully guaranteed at the number he did unless you had done the deal you just did a month or 2 ago. Now he did tack 2 years on to make it a 5-year
probably
deal.
got him more money in the front end too.
Yeah, but he it was still a favorable deal for him in those first 3 years because, so that's my point. You kind of can build on the previous person each time. And I've been kind of removed from it for a while now because once I got to Minnesota and got out of free agency, I was just kind of focused on, being there as long as I can. And I even, after we went to the playoffs in 19, signed a 2-year extension that wasn't fully guaranteed at signing. So for me, it's just kind of been trying to win, trying to stay in Minnesota and create a winning situation there.
When you're talking about your agent telling you that franchises don't let great players leave the area, was there a piece of you or maybe some ego that was like, well, I don't want to be a guy that has to leave. I value myself as a player I am. Like, was there ever a time where you were fighting with staying with the then called the Redskins?
No, I think there's, first of all, everybody's in their own scenario. I was a 4th round pick, didn't really play a lot until my 4th year. So
Got his
I
ass
understand,
whooped in Nebraska.
it's different than being a 1st round pick who starts all 4 years, so I'm aware that, you can move on, players move on. It happens. I remember Greg Olson is probably a great example of a guy who to this day I always wonder, like, why was he allowed to go to free agency and leave and go to Carolina? But he was, and he did. And so it does sometimes happen, but it's uncommon. I remember Coach Gruden saying to me, like, we'd love to draft a tackle at one point in my time there. We'd love to draft a tackle, but, they're not like, you have to draft one because great tackles are not available in free agency typically because a team who has a great tackle does not let them just walk out of their building. Right. And so there's a few positions where it's like, man, we'd love to sign that in free agency, but they just don't exist. And because guys do sign deals before going to market.
Why don't you think you could have got something done with Washington?
You know what? The message was from my agent was, we want to go to the market. And if Washington is the best deal when you go to the market, or the best opportunity, I should say, then let's go back to Washington. That was my attitude. But where I was naive was thinking that Washington would wait on me. And they were smart because they said, I remember when Jay called me the day after they traded for Alex Smith, he just said, we couldn't wait on you. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, like that makes sense. You can't just wait on me and then be left at the altar. You were smart to go proactively get a quarterback and have a plan. And but the whole process for me was I still think Washington is very much the best spot for me. I would just like to go to the market first and see what is out there. And then if it's Washington, it's Washington. And I think that's the thing that people don't maybe realize is when you're drafted out of college, you're drafted. You're told what your contract is, and then you're franchise tagged or you sign an extension, and no one ever really gets to pick their situation or see what's out there for them or truly be a free agent. So I just wanted to see that. But if it's Washington after looking around, then it's Washington. I actually thought it probably could or would be.
Yeah.
They just said, we just can't wait on you. And I thought, you're right. That's smart. You really can't, wait.
Was there anything Washington could have done that could have changed your messaging from we want to go to the market? Because you'd almost think like, yeah, your messaging is like, oh, we'd like to go to the market, but if you're happy where you're at and you kind of want to make the long-term plays, or anything they could have done that they didn't do?
I don't think so. I think that, when Sean McVay moved on, that was tough to see him go. There have been so many good coaches there that had left.
In that nuts?
Oh, brother. Will talks about what you guys had in there. It's just crazy how you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that was the huge blessing of being in Washington. In addition to the players I got to play with, was to look back and say, because you know how much coaching matters in this league, to be able to say, I got coached by Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, Sean McVay, Matt Cavanaugh, Jay Gruden. Like, these are the people in the quarterback room. And even Raheem Morris would come down the hall and sit in the quarterback room in OTAs when we would stay extra and stuff. It was like really, really, and I didn't know it at the time, which I wish I did. I just thought this must be what every quarterback room is like, and it isn't. And so to get that foundation there, it was career changing for me. Yeah.
When you left Washington in the last few years, all the stuff that's come out about the franchise, the owner, like, were you aware of any of that stuff going on at the time, or was it a complete blindside for you when you saw that?
I mean, different stuff has come out, and I haven't followed it that closely since I left, but I at times the other thing is reports. You're like, well, are these even true? I don't even know if these are true. So
the mainstream media.
The media was. I mean, you always felt like there was a cloud out there, no matter what.
Sometimes you just shrug your shoulders and you're just like, I don't know.
It's a major media market, right? You were saying when you came to the Titans, it's
feel
a way different. It's a way different vibe.
Stepping stone, I feel like, to the big leagues, right? Like, people come through there, and now you see them on TV and everything else. But yeah, going to Tennessee and Rackpo was like, hey, comp, it's gonna be way different. It's gonna be way different out here. And you just see a few reporters standing. I mean, in DC, it's just like, it feels like it's just nonstop. To where, what's the contrast of going to Minnesota when you first started to see what was going on in Minnesota with the media?
Yeah, it is a little different market in Minnesota. I didn't mind the DC market. I thought that everybody was fair, and I think that at times ignorance was bliss for me, and I just tried to remove myself from it as best I could. But even going back to playing Washington this year and seeing some of the local, day-to-day coverage of the team, seeing those guys in the tunnel, it's fun to catch up with them and see them. But yeah, Minnesota is, they do a really good job there of really, trying to get it right and to follow it. And like Washington, there's a historic franchise there. There's a fan base that goes back decades that has followed the team closely. And I think that's huge. When we go play on the road at Miami or even at Washington, the lower bowl on our sideline is mostly purple. And I think that's not every team. And so that's huge to be able to play for a team like that.
So going to Minnesota, you guys have so much talent on that team. What is it going to take for Minnesota to become true contenders in the NFL?
Well, I think when you win 13 games, you're doing something right. So I do think we were able to find the inches this past year, which the previous year we were not. We felt we had a really good football team in 2021, and we just were unable to find those inches. And in this league, those inches kind of are everything because we're all pretty good. So we found it more in 2022 to get to 13 wins. But if you kind of looked behind the numbers, you could kind of see there were some spots where we can be a lot better. So, and again, we have a high number of free agents this year. So you feel like coming back for OTAs in April that the locker room will be a lot different. And I don't like that feeling because I liked our group so much.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping we can re-sign as many of these guys as possible and try to keep the group together as best we can. But NFL stands for not for long. So you know that it's always changing.
What position group do you think and this is a tough one because it's there's going to be guys they're going to hear this that play these position groups. But what do you think you were lacking on the offensive side of the ball this year? Was it offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, I would often say, like, I go into games and I don't feel like we are lacking the horses, which is huge, because I think there are quarterbacks who break the huddle and they're like, man, we got limitations here.
Yeah.
I don't feel that. I think more my concern is like a lot of those guys that I didn't feel we were lacking are free agents. Garrett Bradbury's a free agent, Alex Madison's a free agent. So that's more the challenge, is can we bring those guys back? And I also think we were in year one with our head coach, with our system. While there's some similarities and carry over to every system, there were also a lot that was new. So I do think that to be in year two together as a group would also really help take next steps, to really feel like, okay, OTAs is not feeling like your rookie year all over again, but feeling like year two in this system, in this program.
When you're with those guys being free agents, is there a level of relationship you have with upstairs where you can be like, hey, I want to keep these guys around?
Yeah, I mean, when you say that, I know the answer back is, so would we.
Yeah,
like, there's a salary cap, and there's.
But we both know the salary cap's not real. It's a facade.
They definitely can work through things to push money out, but I think that players we just started this conversation saying we'd like to go to the market. I think there's value in that. I think so is Garrett Bradbury and Alex Madison going to say that hey, we want to go to the market too and see what's out there. And so, and I've when I say to them, I say, I want you back as a Viking. I also want what's best for you and for your family in this business. And you understand that, and they understand that. And so anyways, it's, that's where I think the NFL has succeeded as a business, is that they make February interesting. They make March interesting. They make April interesting. Like, there's very few months of the year where you're like, there's not something that's very followable about this league. And somehow they've done that better than I think any other sports league.
It's a fine line between wanting guys to stick around for the betterment of the team and for you, and also wanting them to get what they deserve.
Right.
That is the difficult part of this business that I dislike, is that because it's not a true free market, there is a salary cap.
Yeah.
You have this dance of, man, I want them to be on our team playing with us, but I also want what's best for them. And you're like, and so you do have to treat it like a business and not take it personal when a guy moves on, because you know that was what was best for him.
The character of Kirk O'Chains. Let's talk about that. How'd that make you feel? How did that get going?
Yeah, it's
you embracing it, getting shirtless on the plane, and wearing
the guy with a sleepy six pack.
Yeah,
and I'm sleepy. You don't really.
And for somebody who bought
that thing out, you had the glasses on. You're like, oh, and you kind of say, oh shit, the dude's got a washboard going on a little bit too.
Six pack, I like that.
Bit of a deal.
Somebody who blocks out the noise, he was kind of taking that one in.
Yeah, he doesn't have notifications on his Twitter, but that one he added the notification.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it started on the way back from London. Christian Darrisaw had just gotten his chain with CD on it with the spinner. And and we won in London on a double doink missed field goal by the Saints. You want to talk about finding the inches?
Yeah.
The thing doinks off the sidebar, off the crossbar, and back out towards the field. And so we got an 8-hour flight back to Minnesota, and I hop on the plane, and it's like a nightclub. I mean, people got boom boxes rocking, guys got whatever they want. They're just sitting on no one's sitting. Everybody's kind of standing in the aisles and kneeling on their chair and stuff. And yeah, somewhere in that, before we'd taken off, I think we might have even been delayed to take off. So guys are just trying to, have fun with the time. And his chain ends up on me. And
it's not just fell on you, right? How did that
behind me? So on the way to London,
sitting there and all disoriented, they grabbed you and held you down, and put the chain on, Kirk.
Well, I'm kind of putting on CD on blast here, but on the way to London, I'm locked in. I got my light glasses to block out the light. I'm trying to get adjusted. I got my sleep. I know the rhythm of get your food. Then this time you go down to sleep. I'm trying to be locked in.
Yeah.
I lay down to sleep. I'm 20 minutes of sleep, and behind me, someone's just sawing logs. And I'm oh no, I got 6 hours and I can't sleep. I put on headphones. I still hear him. It's CD. He's right behind me. And we finally land in London, and Za'Darius wakes up and he looks back and he's like, CD, man, you got to get that fixed. That's crazy.
Yeah. You got to work on that.
And I was like, he was one of those fucking machines.
Right there, and you heard him. I'm sitting right here next to him.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was on the way there, but on the way back, CD's still right behind me. And so, yeah, we're just kind of all hanging out, you know, enjoying the music and socializing. And yeah, next thing I know, someone's put the chain around me and they got it.
Next thing he
tied up.
knows.
I don't even know how to tie it up, but they put it on me, and then you know, the power of social media.
So you didn't ask for the chain. You didn't say, "Hey, I'm him."
I didn't
Give me
ask
that
for
chain.
it, but the spinner was also kind of a huge part
Yeah.
of it. It was like,
Big
you
part.
could
Yeah.
just spin
Like the
it.
fidget spinner. It kept
Yeah,
you
exactly.
distracted and long enough for them to get it on you.
Yeah. So then the next away victory coming back, you know, it just same thing, although it was everybody's chain. And then from
Legend
there it was
grows.
this shirt's got to come off. And then from there I had nowhere to go, which was a mistake.
Pants.
My biggest regret from the season, besides losing in the playoffs,
Yeah.
was that I didn't get a grill.
Oh,
That was a
Oh.
mistake.
You would be outstanding with a grill. Could you imagine
There's
you
still
showing up in
time.
August?
There's still time, but
you should show up in
There is,
August with a
bro.
grill.
so I can imagine. I think it'd be epic.
I can.
I think-
Pressers.
Yeah, I don't know that world either. What that is, what you just said, I don't
Well,
know.
What's the
But
difference? Like showing up the
Oh,
press
yeah,
conference.
yeah.
You know that
With
world.
the grill
Yeah,
in,
you gotta do
no,
that every single
I
week.
think it's a must. I think it would have been better though this season. You know, while it's still fresh, while we still had the momentum.
No,
I
I think
know,
I
man.
think you show up January 25th to the first press conference of the Minnesota Vikings season opening press conference, and you have a dark gold, like that grungy gold
That's the other
grill.
thing. Like that's why I didn't get it done. Was like, okay, where do I get one in terms of like I probably got to go to like a dentist to get it shaped or whatever, and then where do I go to get the actual paraphernalia on there?
Are we
I don't
gonna
know,
see Kirk
but
Cousins-
JJ did say because he has one. He's like, I got you. You know, I got all the people. I never like moved on it to
Yeah.
actually get it done. So
So this season, are we going to see you with a grill at some point? You think,
I don't know. That's. I mean, it's still early in 2023.
Julie? You want to see that, don't you?
So
That would be outstanding if you did that. You should get fake
the best
tattoos.
part,
You
the
should get
best
henna
part of the
tattoos
whole thing
also.
for me, the best part of the whole thing for me was the timing of wearing the chains and then the coming back from Miami. I had like a white T-shirt on and black like athletic pants, our travel suit.
Yeah.
I had the white T-shirt, the chains, and the black travel suit. And then we come back from the bye week. It's right around Halloween, and we go to play the Cardinals the day before Halloween. And there's all these fans in warm-ups with black pants, a white T-shirt, and chains tucked in as a Halloween costume. And I was like, that's when you know this is bigger than me. Like when it's becoming a Halloween costume in Minnesota, this is fun.
God,
So, and then
that
you get a
is
little
awesome,
kid at
man.
Thanksgiving, at the Thanksgiving game, a little kid who's wearing shirtless the whole game with chains, sitting in his chair.
Dude, I love that. You mentioned a minute ago biggest regret losing in the playoffs. What is your biggest regret of that game, and why is it
Third down
Why
and-
is it throwing a
Yeah,
3-yard route on 4th and 11 game-winning drive?
Yeah, so third down on the final drive, we got man coverage for a play that is meant to be man coverage. And I can't remember if we had a can on it, if we didn't get man or what, but we got man, and I'm thinking, yes, like this is perfect. And the ball, man coverage is going to be tight coverage, and the ball was thrown like 1 foot behind KJ Osborne. And if it's just a foot out in front of him, he catches that, runs up, and we're now hopefully in the strike zone, high red zone, with a chance to go. We'd probably go for 2 and try to win the game right there. So that was the most frustrating play. Fourth down, with where my read went and where my eyes went, and Dexter Lawrence was coming, I felt like my options were either throw it out to TJ or take a sack in that moment. And if I had taken a sack, the optics probably look better. It probably looks like, oh man, I got to protect him,
Yeah.
But when you get rid of the ball to avoid the sack, then it looks like you're the idiot. So, but certainly third down was where felt like I was the idiot by not making that throw.
When you knew it was man coverage and you threw it a foot off, did you bring that into the fourth down? Was there trouble with the short memory, all the cliche lines?
What's important now? What's next? Next play. When we say cliche, the game is played one play at a time. That's really how it's played. Like you play whatever happens, you next play, and you just go next play, next play, next play, and that includes like 4th and 18 against Buffalo when the play comes in. Like you don't have a play for 4th and 18, but when the play comes in, you're like, okay, next play. How do we execute 4th and 18 if we're calling this route and this concept? And there's a timeout in that moment, so you're able to kind of talk with the team, like, hey, this is the plan. This is how we're going to execute this. you understand percentages are low, but you also have to have a plan.
Yeah, JJ's up there somewhere.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
When there is no next play and you're jogging out the field,
Exactly.
what's going through your head at that time when it really is over and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, not a good feeling. And what's funny about our team this year is because we had always kind of found a way in those 1-score games, like in Buffalo when they fumble and we get a touchdown on their 1-yard line.
Yeah, that was nuts.
There's a part of you even that's like, as you're walking off, not converting that 4th down, you're kind of like still believing like what could happen. But you realize no, they're just gonna go out and take a knee and like it's over.
Do you ever
It's hard to accept that.
Do you ever think did you ever think during that time frame like, I'm gonna get killed for this? Because there's this image of Kirk Cousins that I'll fight anybody over.
Yeah.
That it's like the man's gonna get you 4,000 yards a year. He's gonna get you one of the better QBRs. He's gonna get you one of the better ratios in the league. But when it comes down to that killer instinct moment or just a play that anybody turns to, say that 4th and 11,
Right.
where the image when it doesn't happen for you, it's like, people's mind might go there. Even though you've won big games and everything else, do you feel like you hear that? And do you feel like it's something that's like, man, I got to shake this at some point?
Well, I think playing quarterback, you'll always have that. I think that you want to make sure that you care about the people who are in a position to judge. So the people who are in a position to judge, like I need to hear it. I need to be coached by it. I need to listen to it. I need to fix it. People who aren't in a position to judge, I think you can drive yourself crazy if you try to, prioritize that or listen to that. And people are going to say what they kind of want to say. So yeah, you have to be big enough to just block it out, if you will, or if you hear it, to just be able to be the bigger person and just move forward. But it's not even be the bigger person because they have a job to do. And if their job is to criticize or to point, then they're doing their job and that's fine. So, you understand, like guys like Tom Brady get it. Like they get, stuff thrown at them when all they've done is win 7 Super Bowls. So, you understand that no one's immune to it. No one's immune to it. You just try to play the best you can and find ways to win and be as successful as you can. And I know that winning tends to cure a lot because there were games where I would walk away feeling like, man, I should really get it, after this game, coming away from this game, but we won. And I'd go to the post-game presser and it'd be so easy because we won. People just didn't give me a hard time. So I do feel like winning kind of covers over everything. And then the opposite is true. If you're playing out of your mind, but you're losing, like as a quarterback, like must be something wrong with you,
Does that ever get difficult with like going through the noise? Because you have a good head on your shoulders. You always have.
Yeah.
Like, you do a good job compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
But as you know, the mental game is something you have to constantly work on.
Well said.
Do some of those years or some of those moments, are they more difficult than others?
Yes. I could go on and on about how, you don't sleep well at night after a loss or at a week, going a week. Like we lose to the Packers week 17, I think it was. Like I don't sleep well for like 3 days, and it just weighs, you internalize it too much where you have to say like, there's something wrong with me. Like, how do I work through this so that I can handle it better? Because this isn't sustainable. And what, Coach McVay has kind of dealt with of, do I keep coaching or not? I think that a lot of us as players kind of go through that every year of like, do I come back for another year? Do I subject myself to that? Because it's not from the outside, it's like internal torment that you do to yourself, where I've heard Tom Brady say, and I would agree wholeheartedly with this, that I hope my 2 boys, Cooper and Turner, find a passion that they can have in life the way I found football. But I hope they never feel the torment that football has also given me, just because of the way I internalize it and the way I grind at it. The game does kind of torment you in a way that I hope my boys never have to experience.
Yeah.
What does the future look like for you?
Well,
you talk about those conversations. I
yeah.
would assume it's a conversation you probably had.
Yeah, I think, Julie and I, after the season, we talk and it's like, are we going back around the horn again? And right now, we feel yes, we want to keep going. But it does feel very year to year, in terms of every year, what are you going to do next? And, for me, it's just trying to win a Super Bowl, trying to win as many games as we can. And do whatever it takes to do that, to get there. Hopefully that's, keeping our locker room together and taking another big step in 2023 and then, go from there.
I want to pivot to college because I went to Michigan.
Yes, you did. which is a long ways from Phoenix.
Yeah, it is a long way from Phoenix, but
Good for you.
thank you very much. I appreciate that. I was a desert rat, and I just wanted to see 4 seasons, and I found out real quick I don't like 4
No,
seasons.
I think you've learned real
Yeah,
fast. That
yeah, I
there's a
learned.
place
I
for,
learned real fast. Why did you make the mistake of going to Michigan State?
Well, you make the mistake of going to Michigan State, if that's what you want to call it, when you don't have any other options.
Michigan didn't offer.
Michigan never offered. They got a guy named Ryan Mallett in my recruiting class from
Yeah.
Texas who committed so early that they were pretty much not even looking. And
Like you were the better get there.
well,
Right,
my
hindsight's
my
2020.
journey was
Late bloomer.
very late
He's a late
bloomer.
Ryan Mallett.
Very late bloomer.
What's he doing? Do you even know what he's doing now?
I don't. He had a
knew-
good pro career, but
Yeah, he was a. I'm
hit a cannon. I know that. Wouldn't have worked out well for me because Lloyd Carr retired after my freshman year.
right.
Coach Rodriguez comes in, probably wouldn't have fit his system as well as Denard Robinson did. So probably wouldn't have worked out for me
Mhm.
either. But Michigan State, on the other hand, was a perfect fit. Got to run a pro style offense, got to have the same head coach, same quarterback coach all 5 years, got to play with great players all around me. They just kept recruiting better and better every year. And it could not have worked out better, which is funny because I was not a big recruit. And so typically when you're not a big recruit, you got to go somewhere that maybe you don't want to go to as much or may not be as good of a fit. But for me, not being a big recruit, not having any Big Ten offers and Michigan State offering, I look back and I say, if I had 50 offers and could have gone to Michigan or Notre Dame or these other places, I probably would have made a bad decision. Like it's a good thing that Michigan State
Right.
was my only option because it sent me to a place that literally could not have been better.
When you go into the rivalry for the Paul Bunyan Trophy, like what's like Michigan State's like rally cry to beat Michigan? They're pompous. They think they're better than you.
That's a good question.
Bunch of white collar assholes.
I think I remember we lost in 07. We were up 10 with 7 minutes left. I'm redshirting. I'm not playing. I say we. We lost on a Chad Henne and Mario Manningham, I think a couple touchdowns, and we lose. And I remember walking off the field and there was a blue and yellow, amazing blue sign in the audience, in the crowd that just said, "Still arrogant." And I remember kind of walking off like, yup.
Yeah.
And so I think that was kind of the motivation then for those next 4 years. And
Crushed us, right? You went 3-1
I
against
mean,
us.
we did and we didn't. Like 2000.
He went 3-1.
Yeah. Well, the time I was there,
Yeah.
what?
Well, 2008, I didn't play. We won in the big house. And then 2009, 10, 11, I played. But
And you guys won.
yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. But still,
Brother,
like,
I went.
It's gonna be like we dropped one or
I
something
went-
like that. He's like,
no.
In the next 3 years I played.
Yeah.
Doesn't even say
Oh.
we won. Just I played.
Michigan. I mean, to be fair to Michigan, it was the dark years.
correct.
Yeah.
It was
There
the dark years.
turnover with Coach Rodriguez.
Every year I was at Michigan would qualify as the dark years.
So Coach Carr retires. He kind of built a certain style of play, and then Coach Rodriguez comes in with kind of a different style. And he's got to recruit his guys. And then by the time he had done that, he was let go. And now Coach Hoke comes in to try to return to what Coach Carr was doing to some degree, but it was almost like now we have Coach Rod's players. So there was a lot of turnover. So it was kind of timing wise, it was good timing to be at Michigan State, if you will.
Hey, it was terrible. It was terrible, Will.
But yeah, it's just for me, I grew up in the state. You were from Phoenix. I grew up in the state. So like I knew if I go back to Holland, Michigan, there's going to be a lot of people there that are maize and blue and a lot of people that are green and white. And so it was very, very personal, very real to me. And Coach D'Antonio would always say that you win this game, you walk the streets, not the alleys of your hometown. And I would sit there. I would sit there and I would nod my head like, that's absolutely right. Like I know 8th Street in downtown Holland. And I know I'm going to be on 8th Street in downtown Holland the rest of my life. And I know that I'm trying to walk the streets of that town the rest of my life. And so when we won my senior year to have won 4 in a row, and I knew that in the years I played, we were 3-0, that's when I said it at the press conference, like, I'm going to walk the streets of my hometown the rest of my life. And I'm not saying this like with any kind of hyperbole. No, I'm literally going to walk the streets of my town with a Michigan State symbol on, knowing that like when I was there, we took care of business. So it is personal and it is very real to me because I grew up in the state.
Hey,
That was fire. That was really good. I'm upset.
Yeah.
What about now though? Let's talk about now. How good Michigan
So
is.
every
How does
year,
Michigan State get back to walking the streets because they've been tucked into the alleys for a couple of years?
my freshman year or my rookie year with Washington, Michigan State lost to Notre Dame. And I was upset. I was like, and I'm a rookie. And Rex Grossman said to me, he's like, I think every year you're in the NFL longer, you kind of lose touch with your college program more and more. It's just kind of the way it goes. You'll kind of look back in year 10, like I'm at, and you'll kind of be like, yeah, I'm not as close to the program as I used to be. And I think that's true.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I think it's true. I just, Coach D'Antonio is retired now. All that staff has moved on. I don't know anybody at the program as well. I still follow it. I still, love it. Coach Izzo obviously still in the basketball program is the same, which is great, but even that'll change at some point. And so it is a little harder to like stay close to it. I'll probably try to go back to a spring practice this year and say hello to people, but life goes on and you follow it, but it is harder to stay real close to it.
When
Talk about the black shirt defense.
no.
Let's talk about 2011,
Oh no.
the Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
My worst
Stomp 'em?
performance.
He'll
Can I get on a soapbox about this?
go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So I have deep respect for Coach Pelini. And there's a few defensive coordinators and head coaches who are defensive-minded head coaches that I've gone against through the years where I walk off the field at the end of the game and I'm like, smart fish. Like that guy knows what he's doing. And it was Saban when we played Alabama, and it was Pelini when we played Nebraska. Those two, where you're like, he watched tape this week,
Yeah.
and he had a plan, and his plan, like, was good plan. It worked. So, and he had good players like Levante David and Will Compton and Alfonso Denard and Crick and all those guys.
Yeah.
But no, I just remember they had a really good plan. Like, you guys had a really good plan, and it showed in the stat line. We threw for 80 yards.
I know, yeah. Man, I would always bring that up when
Was
we were
that in
Washington.
Lincoln?
Yeah, I was in Lincoln.
How were the fans incredibly nice to you after the game?
Yeah, I think that was something
like
we were
their MO.
told going into the game. They told us it would be like, and then
Again, Filipinos in the stands in Lincoln, Nebraska.
so we're walking out the field and we got our tails kicked, and they were just, good job, guys, good try.
It's wild.
It gets in your head.
Yeah.
But they had also, I can't remember if that was when they hadn't built the third deck. Like that stadium's huge now.
Yeah. I think it's like 90-something thousand.
Yeah, it was like 75, 80 back then.
Yeah, it's loud though.
Pelini had it rolling.
Yeah, we were rolling. Do you look back like, bro, Michigan State, were you, you were scholarship from the get-go, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You look back, sorry, I didn't mean any disrespect there. 4th round pick in the career you've had, do you like look back and you're like, yo,
Yeah.
how in the fuck did this come about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like obviously
Yeah,
a
totally.
tremendous amount of work. I've been around you, like you
Yeah.
work your tail off, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's like wild looking back on like, man, we really did it. When we, as in you and your wife, not me and you.
Yeah.
No, we did do it.
Yeah. Will wasn't a big piece of that though. You were. Like, don't take anything away from you, brother.
All the time. Yes. If you had seen me in high school, I remember getting offers to Michigan, getting offered to Michigan State and accepting, and kind of I remember the narrative around town in my hometown got back to me like, good for him, but like he's not gonna play there.
Yeah.
It's cool that he got a scholarship and like, but he's not gonna play.
I mean, you were not like, yeah. I remember seeing the old photos.
Yeah. So to even like, I remember the goal was like, get a scholarship. Can I just get a scholarship? That'd be so cool. And then it was like, maybe, but will I ever play? Like if I could just play, start a game, that'd be incredible. Then you do that and it's like, I could actually be good. Like maybe we could like win the Big Ten. And then we did that. And it's like maybe I could like one time, like wear an NFL helmet. Like I remember when I went to Washington and got drafted and I put on the helmet and went out to minicamp practice. I remember thinking like, well, if I get cut today, like at least I wore an NFL helmet. Like that's pretty cool to make it that far. And then you make the team and you're like, you get into a game and you're like, I'm playing in the NFL. So it's just this kind of gradual progression. And now you're saying like, it's funny because I'll say to my wife, like, I don't think I could walk away from this career if we don't win a Super Bowl. I don't think I could ever really like feel peace about it.
Mhm.
You're like thinking back to these things, you're like, I think you've had a good run. You can feel
Yeah.
peace about it.
But that's what happens with like our job or anybody
Yeah.
who's trying to have massive success. Is like you set a goal, you reach it, and it's like for whatever reason you sit there and you're like you put the NFL helmet on, you're like, well, then why don't I feel
Yeah.
100%
And what's the
fulfilled?
next thing?
Yes. What's
That's
the
what
next thing?
Coach
'Cause you sit there and
D'Antonio
you're like,
would say to
take
me.
a moment, you get in front of the mirror before you go out to practice. You got the helmet on. You're looking like this is, I did it. But then like 2 seconds later, you're like, but what am I going to do next?
Right.
Like, what if I don't do anything with this? Then I'm a failure. And then
Right.
it's always something else. And it's like, oh, I
I
mean,
think winning a Super Bowl, I think when you talk to people who have won it,
It's over, bub.
well, when you talk to people who have won it, they make it very clear that didn't fix everything.
Damn.
That
I was
didn't
wrong.
fix everything. Like you get about 2 months. You get about 2 months of like, man, we did it.
Riding the high.
And then you realize like, we got high expectations. Like there's no reason we shouldn't do this again. And like anything less than this is not acceptable. And so it never ends, I guess. But yeah, Coach Antonio used to tell me there's a book called The Dream Giver and that he loves. And he would tell me, you know, when you, in that book, this Chasing a Dream, you climb one mountain, you get to the top of the mountain, you look around, you realize there's just more mountains to climb. And he's like, you can stop at that top of that mountain for a second and look around and take it in. But like in life, there will always be that next mountain to climb. And certainly in the football journey, we've all lived that.
You were drafted in the 4th round. RG3 was drafted in the 1st round. He was going to be the franchise guy, and you kind of sat behind him until you didn't. Do you look back on that? Can you speak back on like over making the climb to become the guy and that whole process unfolding with RG3 being like the face of the franchise, and you're kind of like, you know, they're like integrating you into it with all the drama and all the noise surrounding the whole thing, and you're just like, well, I'm going to go out here and, you know, once you get on the field, you're like, you know, let me play well enough to not be replaceable. Can you talk about that?
Sure. First of all, the model was, you know, back up Robert and support him. And if I play well in preseason games, I'm going to get an opportunity somewhere in the trade. Kyle Shanahan made that very clear from the day I was drafted. And Rex Grossman said to me, you know, this offense playing well is in your best interest, because when a quarterback can be a part of a really good offense, I think it makes other teams want you more. So when you know, we had a great year, our rookie year, I really just watched as Griff won Rookie of the Year, and Rex made the point, like, this is really good. You know, for your career to just be watching someone playing at this level is really, really good. And I agreed. And then I just assumed, again, not knowing how the pro football works, I just assumed we'd run it back and be able to do the same thing. And the next year we went 3-13. And so you quickly realize just how hard this league is. And then Coach Gruden came in, and that next year we went 4-12. And again, you realize, like, man, this is really hard. And then going into 15, you know, you're just kind of competing, understanding that maybe if you practice well enough, you might get a shot. And then that was when Jay made the decision going into, you know, 2015 season, near the end of camp, near the end of preseason, that, okay, we're going to go with Kirk. But even then it was like, I got to play well enough to stay out there, you know? And I remember the game against Bucks, we got down 24-0, and the bye was the next week. So if we don't win that game, you know, I've heard some people say on that staff, they thought they were all going to get fired if we didn't win that game. And I probably don't come back after the bye week as a starting quarterback. So we were 1/2 away from probably it never going the way it did. We come back and win that game 31-30. And then I yell, "You like that?" in the tunnel,
like that game, bro.
And we never really looked back. But you know, you do realize how close it was to going the other way.
Man,
it's crazy.
Why couldn't we get it done in Washington? Yeah.
Yeah, so we were at the Pro Bowl this past week.
Yeah, and that's what made me think of it too. It's like he's crushing in the media world, and he's sitting there interviewing you, and I'm sitting there looking at that photo like, man, they really went through some stuff, whether they're even, not that you guys were never friends, but you're a lot wiser now, you're more mature, you're kind of just, you're both doing, everybody's doing their thing and everybody's happy for each other. And you went through some like tumultuous times where it's like, it seemed like you guys were rivals and you guys just kind of had to weather that storm, whether he's kind of looking at you, you're looking at him, but it was kind of like, I saw that photo and that's what made me think about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, Griff's really smart, really articulate, and he really knows the league. So what he does now, he's good at doing. He's really good at it. But yeah, he just did the post-game interview with me and Eli, and I had talked to him earlier in the week at the Skills Challenge and stuff and got caught up. I just hadn't seen him. I hadn't seen him in like maybe 6-7 years because we hadn't played each other after 2015. And so I just never had run into him. And it was great to see him, great to get caught up. And you know, he's he put his arm around me after we finished the interview and just said, "Hey man, like I'm in your corner." And it was just really good to connect with him. And I just looked back and I just said, you know, likewise, but you know, I'll never forget now being a starting quarterback and understanding how hard it is to do the job. I'll never forget what you did your rookie year. Like no fear, coming in as a rookie and just taking over and making plays and putting your body on the line, and the mental, physical toughness, learning a new system, moving to a new city, taking on all that pressure with the media, everything. Like the way he handled it was just incredible. And I just told him that, and I'll tell anyone the rest of my life, like what he did that year was incredible.
You got anything else?
Buddy, I'm solid.
Hey, thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
I know you
Great to
don't- I know
connect with
you
you
don't
guys.
I know you don't do this a whole lot, so I really do appreciate it. And
Well-
being
well-
transparent and talking about all this
Taylor,
stuff.
I don't know you too well. You had an unbelievable career, you know,
Oh,
all
it's not
pro.
over yet, brother. Hold on. now.
There's so much more. But this guy is why I'm here. And you know, I'm always, when I go through life, I'm looking for leaders because I think that leadership, everything rises and falls on leadership. And quite frankly, I think leaders are hard to find. And this guy's a leader. He's a leader of leaders because he can build relationships with people. He can connect with anybody in our locker room, from West Coast, East Coast, inner city, suburbs, you know, farm boy. He can connect with anybody at any time, at any level. He's engaging. He's funny, but he's smart. He studies. He's tough. Like I keep a list on my phone of people I would hire if I ever started a company. And like right there is the guy I would hire to like run the company for me.
Fuck it, you're gonna
Hey,
go,
brother,
man.
that is all time, man. Yeah.
Put my piece out there. He is why I'm sitting on this chair, and he is why I think this podcast will go as far as it wants to go. And I plan on, when I'm retiring from football, giving him a call and saying, "What are we doing?" So
That's all
Dude,
time, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you're gonna make me tear up, man.
No, I respect the heck out of you. Brother, no, you don't. Listen, you guys have a great relationship. I appreciate you coming on because of Will. I'm just looking to be a part of it.
subscribe.